Alrighty, what is up, college baseball fans? Welcome to another episode of the 11.7 podcast. This is the regional recap episode brought to you by Home Field Apparel. Use our promo code CWS26 for 15% off, and that is at homefieldapparel.com. They are sponsoring our Omaha Diamond Den, the Home Field Apparel 11.7 Diamond Den, where we will be in Omaha from Thursday to Monday, staying in a content house. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we will have more details later this week on it. But everything's booked, everything's good to go. Tons of live shows, interviews, random content stuff for social media. It's going to be a blast. So really looking forward to that. The structure of today's show is strictly just regional recaps. It was one of the most exciting weekends that I can remember. And when I say exciting, I mean just everything from extra inning thrillers to underdog stories to the cream always rising to the top with some of these regionals. It was a good mix of everything, and it's certainly why this is the greatest tournament in sports. Never touch the structure to the college baseball tournament. Never fiddle with it. It is perfect how it is, and we got to see that showcased from Friday until the end, like basically midnight Monday. Later this week, we will have an episode for a super regional preview. That will be strictly talking matchups, making picks, and so forth. So joined today by Noah and Dimitri. Jack is currently in the air flying back to DC. Jack did an amazing job on the Mississippi State broadcast. The unfortunate part was there was not very many competitive games. Probably the least thrilling regional out of the 16 or up there. But I tuned in, watched every game on my phone while I had Squeeze Play on the TV. He did a great job, and I don't know if he has a super regional assignment or not. I don't think he does because I haven't heard anything from him about that, but you never know.
Yeah, we were kind of on last night's College Baseball Live talking about hypothetical super regional trips and destinations. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. But you bring up a good point, Noah. Thank you to everybody who has joined our nightly live show on Twitter and on YouTube. It's fun interacting with the fans. The chat has been incredible. And it's just made like this whole watching experience more enjoyable for us college baseball fans. So we will have a live show, I believe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday next week while the games are being played. Come stop in, chat it up with us. It's good vibes. Noah, I think it's safe to say that you won our Omaha Snake Draft. That's something else I have here in the notes. Dimitri, your mic's not on. your mic is not on.
I think what he was trying to say was it's not safe. You guys still have a chance. However, I'm guaranteed 3 because of my draft strategy. Mm-hmm. And you guys have a maximum possibility of 3.
Yeah, it's safe to say you have walked away with it. So congratulations there. Extra spending money in Omaha, and we will document how you spend it. It's just there's no way I get 3 and you don't win any other ones besides the 3 that you're guaranteed. So congrats there. Any other opening thoughts here before we dive into these regional recaps? I think I've covered everything on my list.
Whoa, I think my mic is good now, right?
Yeah, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that getting Country Roads to cap off the weekend was just absolutely exceptional, and that is what college sports is all about. I'm so happy so many people were able to see that college baseball still holds. What rings true for all of us is that college baseball and college sports in general unite around one single school, one single community, and everyone involved in that school community team plays for that one thing on the front of their jersey. And that was the epitome of what college sports was all about, was that West Virginia just belting out Country Roads after walking off Kentucky to win the Morgantown regional and advance to super regional. But I mean, I had chills, and I've watched it 10 times and I still can't stop watching it. It is the single best video that encapsulates what college sports is all about. And I thought it was just perfect that it happened on a Monday night, Game 7 Monday, when the whole country was watching.
What a easy, like probably the best piece of recruiting content a school could ever have. I mean, Steve Saban's and staff, they won't even need to call recruits anymore. It's going to be to send the video directly to them and be like, hey, watch this and tell me if you want to be a part of it or not. It was really cool. It was such a cool moment. One of my top college sports experience or college sports videos of all time. It's sick. And I'm glad they get to host a super regional now too. We're going to get more of it.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't get over how much it reminds me of the college sports that I fell in love with as a kid. Like I remember watching Texas game in the Red River rivalry. The whole stadium was silent doing, the Texas fight song. College Station, Bluebell Park still does a really good job of it. But it's just bigger. Like, that was what I grew up watching in college sports. That's what I loved, not the corporate, professional, bland, sterile feel that some of these sports are feeling like now. And college baseball is the last one. And I think, along with the million other reasons, such as the draft and all that stuff with college baseball, but I think college baseball might be where a lot of fans are going to gravitate towards too, because they still feel like it's a college sport. Yeah. And I think we're at a very pivotal time where do not fuck it up.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear, right? Like, don't change the tournament. Don't like separate into two divisions and FBS, FCS. Like, don't do anything. I think it's in a good spot. Obviously, I think there's some wrinkles that need to be ironed out as far as transfer portal, NIL, and that stuff. But for the most part, it is still the purest sport on earth.
It's the last one we have left.
Yeah, it has not been, institutionalized in private equity, and I don't know. It's really, really cool what we got to witness this weekend.
But you know what? We all know what happens when something gets really popular. More money comes in, and when more money comes in, bad decisions come.
Yeah.
Because you have to justify the money.
And let me tell you, this weekend was, once again, really, really good for the sport of college baseball and the growth of it. If you're somebody like Ben, who's coined the term shrink the game because of concerns of more money coming into the sport, that's more interest, more potential for, ulterior motives and making sure that you have like a quota to deliver. Like, for example, in Omaha, if you want to get eyeballs on the game, you probably shouldn't eliminate both your number 1 and number 2 ranked teams in the first weekend of the year in back-to-back seasons. You should want those teams in Omaha, but that's the beauty of the game. And Skylar Meade, in a post-game press conference, I clipped it, posted it. It was one of the first 2 that I got to, after this weekend. He said the beauty of college baseball and how unpredictable it can be is it's not football where it's the strongest, the fastest that are going to win those games. It's not basketball where you can hand the ball to Michael Jordan and he'll score your 40 points in a game. There's 34 guys on a roster. The bottom of the barrel in the pitching staff is going to have to pitch at some point during a regional probably. And all 9 guys in the batting lineup have to be able to step up in a given weekend, especially if you fall into the loser's bracket after that first game. And like Troy, you have to win 4 games in 3 days. And they were able to do it. But that's what makes this sport so great, is it's not how much money you're spending in NIL or the transfer portal that's going to determine how much you win. I mean, look at the national champions, the defending national champions in LSU. They missed the NCAA tournament, for crying out loud. Like, it's incredible.
So before we dive into breaking down each regional, recapping them, there was 11 teams that went a perfect 3-0 in regionals this weekend. 3 of them two of them were 4 seed. One of them was the 3 seed. In Cal Poly, Little Rock was the 4 seed. St. John's was the 4 seed. So 11 teams went 3-0 this weekend. One, 2, 3 teams lost game 1 and came all the way back through the losers bracket, reeling off 4 straight to win their regional. That was Troy, USC, and Auburn. Lost game 1 on Friday and came all the way back. Really impressive. West Virginia and Oklahoma both lost the 1-0 game on Saturday night and came all the way back through the losers bracket to win that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams had to win twice in their regional finals to win it. 11 went 3-0, and 2 of them were 4 seed, 1 was a 3 seed. I mean, you just can't make this shit up.
And Dimitri, stemming off of that too, all 5 teams that won the game 6 to force a game 7,
One game
all
7.
followed it up and won the game 7.
It's all about momentum, and like you got to see it with teams like Auburn and Troy. They both, and USC too. Like those 3 come top of mind, where the offense just clicked like halfway through game 2, where like they weren't there game 1, and from there, like 1 through 9 in the Troy order was a completely different 1 through 9 than that Miami game. It was like the Ryder game and the elimination that something clicked, and like they started scoring 10 plus runs every game. Same thing with USC. Like USC struggled with Texas State, had their hearts ripped out. And then, during that Lamar game, something clicked with the offense and just carried them to 4 straight wins. That's what's cool. It is a sport of timing more than anything. A sport where timing can be everything. We'll take USC, for example. We talked about this pre-show. USC was 1-9 in quad 1 games going into the tournament, or 1-11 with quad 1 games going into the tournament. Ranked 9 RPI, didn't get to regional host. But timing was everything for them, where they ran into a red-hot Nebraska team on the road. Oregon was raking whenever they played them in the regular season. Same thing with UCLA. UCLA was in the middle of like a 20-game win streak when they played. So USC's timing this year wasn't great, but they got their timing Saturday in College Station, and they're one of the hottest teams in the country right now, pitching and hitting. It's just a cool sport where your whole – Troy, timing is everything with Troy. They get in as the last 4 in, like by the hair of their teeth, and now they're hosting a super regional.
I didn't want to dive too specific yet until we talked about each regional, but to piggyback off your USC thing, USC, and I'm going to put a graphic out of all their scores of games that they lost and how heartbreaking this season has been for USC, and for them to be able to make a super regional and have a chance to go to Omaha 2 wins away tells me how strong mentally this team is. Yeah. They could have folded. There's so many times this team could have folded this season, and they haven't. They lost a heartbreaking sweep to UCLA, turned around, swept the next team. Same thing, so forth. So we'll talk about that later. And the second thing is Troy was 6-11 at one point, 11-16 at one point, and they finished the season 29-27 heading into the Sun Belt tournament. Mm-hmm. And now they are 2 wins away from Omaha. So
yeah, it's a really good story, and we're going to take the time to go through all 16 regionals here. The structure of the regionals, I thought about going 1 through 16. But that wouldn't be fair to like one of the more exciting regionals in West Virginia, where like doing that one last, I think, is a disservice. So what I want to do is we're going to knock out a few of the, we'll call it like coast regionals, where teams that just dominated from start to finish. We're going to start with like UNC. I know they kind of got into a dogfight a little bit in one of those ECU games, but for the most part, UNC took care of business. And then from there, we'll go to like Mississippi State, Texas, pretty much coasted until that final game. So we'll knock out some of the easy ones first, where we're not going to spend 10 plus minutes on it. Like there's no point. So it leaves us the ability to go in depth into the more exciting regionals, such as, the Kansas one was great. West Virginia, Southern Miss, like those regionals I thought were a little bit more entertaining. So let's start with the Tar Heels here. 4 overall nationals.
Ben, hold on. Ben, wait. before we start, you got to put that hat away, man. You can't ever wear this hat again.
What is it? Oh, this is my birthday present from Jack.
I know you can't wear it. You need to put it in a glass case and put it away. Because the only thing I think of when I see that hat is you dropping the fly ball at Floor Field.
Oh,
like,
you're
you
right.
cannot wear that hat. Like, to the people, while he gets a new hat, the people that know, that hat is immortalized as the most infamous hat the day that Ben Upton could not catch the ball in left field.
All right.
And I
We're
just
going
can't
my
stop.
chicken hat.
There we go. There we go. By the way, every time I see a chicken now, you know what I think of? People calling Coastal beef chicken. And it makes me laugh every time. They call Coastal Carolina the beef chicken. It makes it so funny to me. But yeah, you can't wear the hat anymore, man.
Yep, I got you. I actually agree with you for once. So I should not be wearing that hat. It's bad luck. All right, well, we're starting in Chapel Hill. Really good broadcast crew. Like, Monaco always crushes it. Like, it's the best to listen to it. I have him cemented at UNC, like, permanently. Like, I don't want to watch another UNC baseball game without Monaco. But they played VCU, who was Dimitri's like 4-seed underdog pick, game 1, and then they had East Carolina and Tennessee there as the 2 and 3 seed. Tennessee surprisingly 0-2 in this tournament, 2 in barbecue. So not the greatest look there for Coach Elander as he finishes his first season as head coach. ECU showed a lot of fight, and so did VCU. Like, VCU could have easily laid down after getting beat down pretty good game 1 against UNC. They come back and win a game against Tennessee to play the loser of North Carolina, East Carolina, which was East Carolina. I would say right now, North Carolina on the left side of the bracket has got to be a heavy favorite to reach that championship series.
Watch out.
But they do have a tough super regional matchup with USC coming up. But besides the point, I mean, North Carolina is like 50-11 this year, being severely under the radar. They beat Georgia Tech in a series earlier this year. Nobody is really giving the Tar Heels the respect that they deserve. I think if rankings came out today, you would have it would be Georgia, North Carolina 1-2 in any order. But like, that's the mindset there.
I think you can summarize the Chapel Hill Regional very quickly. I think it's very quick. What happened this weekend was summarized by one move that Cliff Godwin made. Changed the whole regional.
Yeah.
And that was cannibalizing the whole entire fucking regional.
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze. He brought in Ethan Norby saying, I am not playing around with shit. I'm not fooling around. We are winning this game. Brought in Ethan Norby in the 7th or 8th inning against Tennessee in game 1 of the regional to beat Tennessee. And
in 14 innings, by the way. 14 innings. So, like,
yeah,
you're playing game 1 of a regional and it's 14 innings. You're toast for the future of that regional.
But yeah, that was the decision that won. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it was cool to see, like, ECU was basically like, hey, we're going to ride 4 or 5 pitchers this whole tournament. We don't care. Like, Norby and what's the
Ryan Towers.
Yeah, like, they decided, like, hey, we're gonna take over this regional. We'll throw up 400 pitches. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that was the moment I knew Carolina was going to run away with this regional. The moment Ethan Norby came in that game, and won.
It was one of the best games of regional weekend, the entire weekend. And just in general, before we get to all the other regionals, like, that end of the afternoon slate, like around 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock on Friday, was mayhem. And East Carolina, Tennessee was like a big part of it because of what Cliff Godwin had decided to do with that strategy. Because Ryan Towers throws like 65 or 70 pitches, and then Ethan Norby comes in, throws 70 or 80. You've used your top 2 arms basically up until Sunday night when they brought back Ryan Towers against North Carolina. But it was like you had mailed it in that you were going to have to out-hit North Carolina in game 2 just to get to the regional final, and then kind of piece it together with duct tape afterwards. And you were sending Tennessee to the dungeon and were saying, I dare you to come back and face us later. And they couldn't. And they fell to VCU. And ultimately, like early on in that Tennessee East Carolina thing, it was just who executed offensively. Because there were some offensive miscues in both sides throughout the extra innings. Like teams couldn't get the bunt down a couple of different times. And then finally, I think it was the 14th inning, East Carolina just strung together a handful of hits and put up like 4 runs in that inning to pull away. But yeah, North Carolina, I don't even know if this was their best weekend performance-wise. Starting pitching wasn't, cruising by any means. And yeah, just the bullpen is so good for the Tar Heels. So that's the takeaway here.
No, I love it. Let's move on over here.
I do have a stat. So I have one interesting stat for all 16 regionals. Some of them are going to be guessable for you guys. Some will not, but just play along with the game here.
Some are going to be what?
Some I think you guys will be able to guess. I'm going to give you the stat.
Guessable. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the decimal. I was like, what does that mean?
No, guessable. So it's to me, it's like one of the biggest storylines for each team moving on to super regionals. So North Carolina, the stat is 50%. And if you have a guess,
what they hit in runners in scoring position or leadoff guy got on 50% of the inning, one of those two.
So that is interesting, and I will definitely have to look these up now because I know you guys are watching these games and everything. But the 50% stood for Eric Paulson got either a hit or RBI. He had 6 hits, 6 RBIs, and 12 at-bats this weekend. So in 50% of his at-bats, he had a run or a hit.
Not cool.
That's pretty nice. I wish that was my career stats. Or at least just a weekend stat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. All right. Let's move over here to let's see. Who else? I had another one. I guess the Georgia.
I was thinking Starkville was more of a cruise.
Yeah, let's go Starkville. You're right. We'll go Starkville, then Athens after that. Starkville, I've already mentioned it. Like Jack was on the call. Great job. Blah, blah, blah. Mississippi State just pulverized everybody they played. The only game that was like somewhat competitive was that elimination game on Sunday, which was Cincinnati and Louisiana. I want to give credit to the Raging Cajuns. Like they are another team that just left it all on the field with guys pitch counts through the roof and coming back on 1 day rest, no day rest. Like they really were bought in, but it didn't matter. Like Louisiana, Cincinnati, Lipscomb, they could have all played their best baseball. Nobody was beating the Bulldogs this weekend in Starkville. It was inevitable. Like every clutch moment, they would come through with a hit. Anything. Pitchers were just not getting touched. It was a very dominant performance, and now we're going to have some college baseball casuals out there fighting for why is Mississippi State and Georgia playing each other in a super regional when they look like two of the best teams in the country. Yeah, we need to reseed, and like just get that out of my face. Like we do not need to reseed. This is not a charity league. Like let's just play the bracket how the bracket breaks.
Time out. 1 weekend against fucking Cincinnati. And I don't even know who I want, maybe 3 innings in the whole regional. Just because they played a easy regional and dominated does not mean they are a top team in the country. They were seated where they belong. They were 15-15 in the SEC. Don't forget that they're not a top team in the country.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what college baseball casuals are saying online right now. How is Georgia going to have to play against Mississippi State? And if they win the Super, they're going to play against Texas. Like, we need to reseed and rebracket. And like, no, dude, get that out of my face. Like, let's play the bracket how it is.
Yep.
It'll be a talking topic in Omaha too, because
no one should be punished for upsetting a team or whatever.
Yep.
Or another team.
I just realized my microphone wasn't plugged in. Do I sound?
Oh, that explains some of the echo. I wasn't gonna say it.
No, I didn't even notice.
I literally, it was just unplugged. Don't know what happened.
Oh.
Well, welcome. This is
doesn't really sound that much different.
Okay, cool. That's good to know at least.
The sounding isn't different. The echo, like we could hear Dimitri and I talking through your computer, I think, but now it's a lot better.
My bad.
All good.
All right, next regional. Let's go to.
I do have a stat for Mississippi State, by the
Okay.
way. And also, we were talking to Jack last night on our live stream watch along, and I asked him what was like the biggest storyline trying to help me find a stat. And I didn't end up going with his advice, but I will share what he said. And that was like game 3, the way that Ryan McPherson looked stuff wise is what Mississippi State needs to kind of unlock that ceiling. He went 5 innings, had just 2 earned runs against, 5 hits allowed, 7 strikeouts, no walks. And McPherson was their ace early on in the year prior to his injury. We've seen how valuable a powerful 1-2 punch is in the NCAA baseball tournament, and how you can get through the College World Series just by using 2 starters. And yeah, McPherson and Tomas Valencias are definitely a good 1-2 punch there. So that's very important for them. But the stat here, guys, is .786. 786.
I'm gonna say
on base percentage, slugging, no, fielding percentage. Ben, what is it? Is it? No, it's not fielding percentage because that's really
I'll
bad.
say I think I got it. Is it winning percentage in regionals for Mississippi State hosting?
No, you guys are thinking a little. That thought is a little too outside the box. I did not do that a lot for these. It's specifically like within the games.
786. That was Mississippi State OPS or slugging with runners on or runners scoring or something like that.
Dimitri's in the ballpark, but I specifically I didn't do this for every team either, but I went one player. Jacob Parker's on base percentage. This is a freshman in college baseball, dude. Yeah, he in 3 games got on base in 11 of his 14 plate appearances, and he hit 7 for 10. He was the regional's most outstanding player, like without a doubt. And like this kid in the middle of that lineup at the top of the order, I think they scored 20 runs combined, the first 5 hitters. They were unbelievable this weekend. And also Vitus Valencias has steadily climbed up in that lineup, and he's been a big bat for him too.
Vitas,
the
Lithuanian.
Okay. Yeah, he's just an experienced hitter. The Illinois transfer, love that bat. And Valencias and Valencias brothers remain a really cool story.
The Valencias and Valencias.
It's Valencias. It's Valencias, not Valencias.
It is 1,000% Valencias.
You know Valencias was at South. You know he was at South Carolina as a freshman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to South Carolina and then went to Illinois. We whooped his ass in that 2021 European qualifier.
Oh yeah, he was on that team.
He was on Lithuania when we played them.
You whooped a 17-year-old's ass. Good for you, Dimitri.
I would probably that was 2021. I would have been 27 at the time. Yeah, whooped his ass.
Love that.
No, I'm just laughing. If he, I don't know if he listened to it. I doubt he listened to it, but that was we played in the middle of a horse track. If we meet him in
Omaha, you gotta mention it. That's funny.
Yeah. If I see him, I'll talk to him. But we played in the middle of a horse track. That we can get we can bond on.
That's brutal. All right, Athens, Georgia. Clearly, the biggest story right now coming out of Athens is Trey Phelps and Wes Johnson being suspended for.
Well, Wes is not.
Oh, you're right. I forgot that news came out. He is not suspended, but Trey Phelps, like probably one of the most recognizable people, if not the most recognizable person in the sport, with the bat flip, go ahead homer against Liberty in the championship game. And
can I make one correction? He did not bat flip.
You're right. He actually didn't. He tossed it. There was a long look watching the ball and a very slow jog to first. And where the story gets gray area is, and I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. Where the story gets gray is his parents were sitting in the front row behind Liberty's dugout. Was he or was he not looking at his parents or the Liberty dugout, taunting, showboating, or just celebrating with his parents? I don't know if we'll ever know the full truth from that. There's camera angles that suggest both stories are true. And Georgia ends up winning the regional, but and pretty easily for the most part. Liberty did give them all the fight in the world. I was proud of Liberty. I thought Liberty pitching staff held Georgia's offense for 2 games, much lower than season averages. And but to I guess kind of talk a little bit about this Trey Phelps situation. I said it on the live show that night. My opinion is okay. Like, if the umpires who are in charge, let's forget, let's put aside umpire slander right now. The umpires are in charge. If they deemed it as an ejectable offense because he was, inciting the other team and, taunting the other team, okay, so be it. We can fix the rules after the season. My biggest gripe is we cannot have an automatic 1-game suspension for players that get ejected, because it takes away from the moment and the storylines and the excitement for the next games. We saw it with Landon Hairston too, which we'll touch on in a little bit. If you want to eject Trey Phelps, go for it. If you're the umpire and you really have it deemed in your head that he needs to be ejected or else a brawl is going to happen, then eject him. The 1-game suspension, though, nobody wants to see that. I don't think any coach in America wants to see the automatic 1-game suspension. So we need to fix that.
I think the 1-game suspension is stupid because not all ejections are created equally. In the words of
True
Nick Minjon, not all ejections are created equally, and a lot of people got mad. A lot of Georgia fans who all these freaking Gen Zers were getting so mad at us saying, "Oh, you're like, this is an awful thing." No. We are not saying we wanted Trey Phelps ejected. What we are saying is, if an umpire sees you looking at the opposing dugout after hitting a home run like that, it is an automatic instant ejection.
And
he is not here doing.
And it's not just the opposing dugout. It was the first baseman. It was the second baseman. It was the pitchers, the shortstop, the third baseman. He did it to everybody.
And then they're saying, screaming, "Oh, his parents were up there. His parents." The umpire is not doing a 10,000 damn piece puzzle to figure out what's happening. He sees it. He's tossing your ass. It's really simple. It's not, "Oh, you wanted him ejected." I don't want him ejected. I don't want any of these guys ejected. But the umpire's job is not to say, hey, pal. Hey, Trey, who were you talking up there? "Oh, that was your parent? All right, don't worry about it, man. Keep doing your thing. Don't worry about it." No, you're looking at the opposing dugout. You're doing a little hand thing, and then you're doing this, whatever. You're out of here. You're out of here. It is what it is.
You can tell you can tell the people online that have played high-level baseball and those who haven't, because one of the first preseason team meetings is and it's reminded through these players' head throughout the year. At least it should be. You guys can celebrate all you want. Go for it. Do this. Just never involve the other team. Because the moment you start involving the other team, coaches know this and coaches preach this. The moment you start involving the other team, you take all judgment out of the umpire's hand, and it's going to be pretty much an automatic ejection, which sucks. But that's nothing that I know the Georgia team knows that, and they let the emotions get best of them, and it is what it is. But you just can't involve the other team.
And it was pissing me off because I'm anti show just as much as anybody. I'm so anti. But it wasn't an show. The guy handled it very well. He didn't scream at anybody. He just said, "Hey, you got to go." That's just rule number 1. Just, you cannot face the opposing dugout. You're asking. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're looking at the president above the dugout, saluting him or whatever. It's you can't look at the opposing dugout, and you're gone. And then Wes Johnson, he only got tossed just to have his players back.
100%.
It wasn't because he was so angry at it. He was just, "I got to have my players back, whether I agree with it or not." Yeah. And I bet Wes would tell you, if he was in that Liberty dugout, he would have done the same thing.
Well, dude, tried to get the guy lucky it was Liberty's dugout who actually restrained themselves. I know some teams in the country it's a full-on brawl if they do it. They would have done that to the Coastal Carolina team last year, or I'm trying to think.
If Tennessee does it to any team,
yeah,
they're out of the dugout.
it's out of the dugout, and there's 17 guys suspended, not just one. Right? Like, that's the thing. It's such a gray area, and like obviously you're going to have people with opinions, but at the end of the day, do whatever you want. Don't throw your bat at the other team's dugout. Don't look at them. Don't chirp them. If you can look at your own dugout all you want and celebrate, just that it's a touchy subject for umpires because they're trying not to have a full-on brawl on the field.
Yeah,
and they get fired if anything like that happens. It's on the umpire if there is a brawl, meaning they didn't manage the game or contain the thing, whatever, properly. So just don't put the umpire in a spot where he's got to do it. That's basically all. That's as far as I'm concerned. That's all I'm saying. Is he was asking for it. He asked for it. He got what he asked for, and that's it.
I'll add my input on this. I'm just tired of like big name head coaches and star players getting ejected every postseason. Yeah. Every postseason, a star player or a coach gets ejected. And it's the storyline. It is. That's all we've talked about during this regional recap so far, is whether or not this was deserved. People
can't accept the fact that they are doing something warranting an ejection. Landon Harris we'll get into. He was warranted an ejection. Trey Phelps was warranted an ejection. It's these star players, star names. It's because we're only talking about because it's a star player. If anybody else ejected, no one really cared. Yeah, that's why. And I'm tired of this storyline. Oh, the college baseball's broken because all eject. No, it's not. Tell these guys to chill out or learn what not to do.
Yeah, I just think that a warning is probably deserved for all players in these types of environments. It is a bubbling cauldron in the NCAA tournament, and these are the most important games of the year.
Warnings don't do anything, dude. They really don't. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
What is the warning going to do?
Hey, here's a warning. Here's
a warning keeps Landon Hairston in the game. And like keeps them playing in a regional when it's like the most important games.
That's not the umpire's job to keep guys playing.
Here's a warning: don't do anything stupid like that. Like you should.
Come on, Noah. The umpire's job not say, "Okay, guys, they want to keep all the best players playing." He doesn't give a shit. Do something stupid. Play stupid games. You win stupid prizes.
I'm not defending either one of these specific instances. All I'm saying is we've seen guys get tossed for less, and there's a better argument against that.
Hand up. There are plenty of ejections that are not warranted that piss me off. Don't get it twisted. We're talking about two different things here.
We are.
The specific situation, it is what it is. Other one, I can get on board that they're not unwarranted. They're unwarranted.
So even Virginia had two players get ejected in a game this weekend too.
Stupid.
The pitcher was warranted. And Kyle Johnson's was not. And that's it on the ejections there. Honestly, on paper, I thought this was a regional that was a very, very favorable draw for Georgia. None of the three teams really had an offense that I thought would be able to compete with them. Liberty's pitching staff did very well. I'm impressed with those Flames arms, just exactly what Ben was talking on before we jumped into the ejection topic. But guys, the stat here for this regional is 0.69. Nice.
0.69 what?
I said nice.
Oh, nice.
0.69.
So 0.69. So 0.690.
Like somebody's ERA is my guess. Georgia's bullpen.
It is Georgia's bullpen ERA.
Oh, there we go.
Across 13 innings in 3 games, the bullpen had an ERA of 0.69. In game 2, Dylan Vigneault was removed after only getting 4 outs. He threw 31 pitches. He had 3 walks, a earned run, 2 runs scored total. Matt Scott comes out of the bullpen for 5 innings shutout, allowing just 1 hit. Justin Bird goes 2.2 with 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits, no earned runs. There was 1 hit for the final 8.1 innings of that ball game, or no, that's the final 7.2 ball games innings, 7.2 innings of the second ball game of the weekend.
That is a massive development for Georgia going forward as they try to make a run for a national championship. If that bullpen is clicking, so I'm telling you right now, it's over. If that bullpen is clicking, it is over.
Dude, how about our boy Caden Aoki, by the way? Holy moly. In the regional final, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk, 6 innings.
And but you know what's crazy? He was kind of playing with fire early in the game, and he just kept getting out of jam after jam after jam. But one other thing I want to give a shout out to is Cooper Harrington for Liberty.
Yes.
The guy is a closer. He has been an electric closer, and I've tweeted many times this year, Cooper Harrington slammed the door. Cooper Harrington slammed the door. Liberty takes the series. Cooper Harrington slammed the door. I've said it so many times. Guy makes the start this weekend again, which is now the last best offense standing in the country after Georgia Tech being eliminated. Dude, he was cruising through 5 innings, 50-ish pitches, just absolutely cruising. And I texted the group. I go, Cooper Harrington's going to be pitching in the SEC next year.
Yeah, he's I mean, I don't know. Liberty's got some money, but yeah, he's definitely boosted up his NIL stock. He was tremendous.
Yeah.
All right, let's move up here to the Eugene, Oregon regional. This was one that was rarely on Squeeze Play. I watched a lot of Squeeze Play this weekend. Oregon was the 1, Oregon State the 2, Washington State 3, Yale 4. Oregon, for the most part, other than a few, I mean, it was a low-scoring game against Washington State in that winner's bracket for a little bit, and then they broke it open. And then same thing with Oregon State. Once they started getting some traffic on the bases, that last half of the championship game, Oregon broke it open. Huge shout out to PK Park. Fans showed up. They were incredible. Really fun home atmosphere there. And the Ducks, don't look ahead too far, but the Ducks match up well with the Longhorns, in my opinion. The pitching is there. They have the big bats and clutch players in the lineup. I got my eyes on the Oregon Ducks. They handle business very easily, especially on the pitching side of things this weekend.
Hey, by the way, I just had a thought before I kind of get into it. Do you think you can go regional by regional off the top of your head and tell you and fill out the whole bracket? I just thought about that.
Yeah, easy. I could go game by game right now. Yeah.
I could fill out the bracket of every single regional game by game, who won, who lost, easily.
Yeah.
How many? I don't think that many people can do that.
It's fresh on a lot of people's minds. I bet anybody that sat and watched consistent coverage could probably do it.
Maybe, but
I missed a little bit of Saturday's slate, so I may struggle on those middle games, the loser bracket and 1-0 game.
I would get every single one of them.
You could work in reverse.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out PK Park. Sounded like Austin Stadium on a Saturday night, guys.
I saw you tweet that. That was great.
Noise, it was a nonstop humming noise all weekend. Every game Oregon played. You know what I'm talking about? That humming, that noise. Yeah. It's never silent. Very underrated place to play. I said it. I told somebody Oregon. Oregon is the top 10 atmosphere in regional weekend at home. The team was just better than everybody else. Oregon State just can't hit for shit. Washington, I know Ben had a little soft spot for Wazoo. They can't hit for shit. Yeah. And it was kind of a snooze fest weekend. And
the pitching was exciting. Even Washington State's arms and Oregon State's arms were good. Oregon was the only one that could literally hit the ball out of the infield.
That rotation, man, I'm telling you. Shout out Will Sanford. 14 strikeouts on Saturday night.
Yeah.
That staff as a whole, if I'm Texas, I'm concerned, or I'm at least not very confident yet. I'm all right, this is going to be a war this weekend. That pitching staff is something else.
Yeah. I'm very proud of Oregon because they avenged last year's debacle that happened in Eugene. Talk about ejections. That was another one that was borderline where Antonero's trucked a catcher and got ejected, and then Waz got run too. But that kind of threw that entire regional for a loop because Then who was it? Utah Valley scored a couple of runs, won that game without Arrows, and then Arrows couldn't play the next game and they were eliminated. So
Wazikowski was out.
Yeah. So I'm proud of the Ducks. You know, this is a group that doesn't have a whole lot of holdovers from last year. You know, it's kind of bare bones from that roster, but it as slowly but steadily, I think, pieced itself together throughout the season, and they're peaking at the right time. I'm right with Dimitri. Like, I texted our fantasy group chat mid-March. I was like, Oregon team is just not it this year, I fear. And they look like a completely different team, and they've flipped some guys out of the lineup. You know, they moved Maddox Maloney down the lineup. They've moved some freshmen up in the lineup. Angel Laya, Braden Jackson are huge contributors to this team this year. And then how about Nalivu Lawaki? He prefers to go by.
He might be one of my. He didn't hit that well this weekend, but when he hit, everyone knows about it.
He had 2 hits this weekend. They were both 3-run bombs in the 8th inning.
Yeah, monster shot. Just pure grown man strength.
I love that dude. I love that dude.
We get 3 more years of it. I'm here for it.
You guys, wait. You guys know Lawaki is currently rehabbing Tommy John right now. He's a stud pitcher.
Two-way guy.
Yeah,
and he's good. He's a better pitcher than a hitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Dude, that guy's a tank. He's a defensive end, and he's going to be on the mound as a better pitcher than a hitter. That's insane. He's hitting 320.
Yeah, I mean, now people are probably going to say he's the better hitter, but I think I could be totally wrong, but based on what I remember, is he was a better pitcher coming out of high school.
All right, this one should be gettable for you guys. The stat for Oregon is 0.56.
Team ERA.
Team ERA.
I think they gave up 2 runs all weekend or something.
It was starting pitcher ERA. Okay. They gave up, I think it was 4 runs all weekend, 2 to Yale, and then 1 to Wazoo, and 2 to Wazoo, 2 to Yale, and 1 to Oregon State. So they gave up 5 total. But starting pitching,
they didn't. Their starting pitcher didn't give up any runs to Wazoo.
No, he's saying
like
total
the entire
runs.
Regional, all 3 starters. It was in game 3. Gastola gave up 1 run in his 6 innings, but I mean, he had 8 strikeouts against Oregon State.
Stanford and Gastola are really fun to watch pitch.
Yeah, we're gonna move to the next regional here because I think it just perfectly segues. Like, Texas absolutely manhandled their regional, except for the final game against Santa Barbara where they made it interesting. But that is the super regional matchup, is the Longhorns and the Ducks. And dude, Texas's offensive outburst, the first 2 games was
really
crazy.
Nice to see
for that ballpark to put up 15 plus runs, and just, I mean, everybody was hitting homers. It was Tenney and Pack and Robbins, and I mean, even going down the lineup, like, guys were seeing the ball and hitting the ball. It didn't pay off. The one thing I do respect Santa Barbara for was, like, they did pitch off and tried to save Flora for Texas, because that was their only shot of winning the regional until the bats heated up, and they came all the way through the losers bracket, and they would have had to beat Texas again right after it. But the game was close on Sunday. But I want to give a ton of credit to the Texas Longhorns and that team, because between pitching and hitting, they're right up there with North Carolina and Georgia as far as, like, favorites to win the College World Series. Like, they have a team that's built to do it.
Barbara had Texas's bullpen in hell on Sunday night.
Yeah.
I think it was Hayden LeFew came in, didn't get an out. And then Sam Kozar was like,
Thomas Burns shoved it up their ass. And then,
Kozar gave up, like, I'm looking at the box score now,
2
5
runs.
hits. He gave up 5 hits, 1 earned, which just doesn't happen against that guy this year. He really labored in his 2 innings. So
Santa Barbara guys, we didn't get 2 matchups that we were really looking forward to coming into regional weekend, which was Mason Edwards against Texas A&M and Jackson Flora against Texas. We didn't get either one, but Barbara was a swing. Gauchos were a swing away from taking the lead against Texas, forcing a winner-take-all finale. And that would have been interesting because Texas would have been in kind of trouble pitching-wise if Santa Barbara would have won that game. And Barbara had a lot of people still available to pitch that have good talent. So that was a very interesting storyline unfolding that 8th and 9th inning that I don't think people were aware of, that it was a big trouble for Texas if they would have somehow lost the game. But credit to the Longhorns, man.
They brought Luke Harrison out of the bullpen for the final out.
Yeah. I know.
They were scrambling a little bit.
Schloss knew what was on the line right there.
Yeah.
So, Santa Barbara played really well. I'm proud of them. Really fun team to watch all year. Jackson, Florida. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. But anyways, Texas dominated, sets up for a fantastic super with Oregon.
All right, Noah, what's your stat?
4, the number 4.
Anthony Pack Jr. home run.
He hit 5, didn't he?
So Anthony Pack Jr. hit 4 home runs this weekend, and Aiden Robbins hit 4 home runs this weekend. The top of the order for Texas has been the story all year long, but it really was 1 through 9 this weekend. That was a huge development for Texas. In game 1, they put up 19 runs. In game 2, they put up 16. Competition question marks, sure. Holy Cross and Tarleton's pitching not so good on day 2, but definitely a nice sight to see for Longhorns fans, because that was, I think, the question mark coming in with a little bit of nagging injuries and the depth of the lineup. I know I'm mentioning their top 2 hitters, but I mean, how can you not? That's silly.
Aiden Robbins, I tweeted it out. Aiden Robbins is literally a big game hunter.
Oh, yeah.
He showed up with the biggest majestic home run in the biggest game. Always.
He was huge in the Cape, too, in those big games.
Yep.
All, baby.
All right, we need to move on here. Speaking of Santa Barbara, let's move over to the Cal Poly Mustangs might not ever lose again. I don't know what clicked for that team, but I mean, they looked fantastic this weekend. And I'm talking A+ stuff on the mound. Everybody they rolled out there. The offense is swinging. They were the number 1 offense in the Big West, but I would have never predicted in a million years that they would clean sweep 3-0 that regional at number 1 UCLA. And they were the best.
Never even played them.
Never played them this year, and clean sweep.
No. They never even played the number 1 team in their own region.
Yeah. They didn't play UCLA. It was an absolute just backwards regional where you had UCLA and Virginia Tech playing that elimination game, and Cal Poly, they beat St. Mary's twice, and then they beat UCLA. No, I'm sorry, they beat Virginia Tech game 1, then St. Mary's, then St. Mary's.
Yeah.
But none of the games were that interesting. They just dominated from start to finish.
Credit to Cal Poly. I want this known. The 6-2 final was a snooze fest, the final 6 innings of that game. Yeah. For a 6-2 game, that is a typical blowout in Big West baseball. I just want it known. And then that Virginia Tech team had UCLA on the ropes in the bottom of the 9th. So I just want it known that yes, Cal Poly didn't play UCLA, but they sent Virginia Tech into the losers bracket who had UCLA on the ropes.
Yeah.
So let's make that known. And then they also knocked off St. Mary's twice, who beat UCLA twice. So
yeah, no, it's
I also want it known that any UCLA slander is not allowed.
No.
This team, hold on. They were not fraud. They were not whatever. They just happened to have the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. They just weren't hitting well. They were struggling. A month. Yeah, sure, month. They were struggling. They weren't hitting well, and it just didn't get turned around. They were not a fraud. This was, at one point, the best team in the country. Mm-hmm. That lineup was incredible. That pitching staff was incredible. And also, it needs to be known, they lost their Friday night guy 2 weeks ago. 2.5 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
I think a month.
Whatever. Okay, everything happened in a month. And it's a trickle-down effect. Everyone gets shifted up one, and it just kind of messes with the mojo and things. This UCLA team didn't have their Friday guy. Chalowski had it once, and he was in a slump. It was Lavu can't carry the team. Dean West wasn't.
Gasparino was suspended game 1 against St. Mary's. They also had a freak injury with
two freak injuries.
Aguero.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, Aiden Aguayo rolled his ankle while rolling up the tarp. Yeah. And then, first off, why is he doing that?
Yeah. What do you mean? Why? Oh, yeah. You're right. At UCLA, why is he doing that?
And
mid-majors, we do that.
And then the second one was Peyton Brennan was out for the regional after tweaking his oblique in game 1 against St. Mary's, and that was in the middle. Actually, it was Virginia. Was that that was the St. Mary's game. It was in the middle of the St. Mary's game, and then you're scrambling now down 2 starters against the 4 seed. All the pressure's on you, and some guys have to step up when they really haven't had their numbers called all year long. Yeah. The thing about UCLA that I kept harping on was they just got too comfortable playing from behind, and they really never had the wake up call where they, the face planted into the dirt and we're like, guys, we just got to wake up, And you would have thought it would have happened in game 1 against St. Mary's when you lose that game, but it didn't. It didn't. That was a heartbreaking press conference to watch. Coach Savage, dude, just face the music there.
I was sad. Unbiasedly, I was very sad to see that UCLA team. I thought it was a very fun, very tight-knit, extremely enjoyable baseball team to watch, and I was sad seeing them get eliminated because they had such bigger dreams. They had such bigger aspirations, rightfully so. And that team was good for college baseball. That was 7 out of their 9 guys in that lineup from Omaha last year were in their lineup entering regional weekend. And it was this is a team you can get close with. You keep watching them, their lineup, their names, who they are, and you enjoy watching them and following their success. So I was kind of sad for them. But yeah, man, we
get a good Cal Poly team now in a super regional that has literally flown under the radar all year. They were up there with Santa Barbara all year at the top of the Big West standings.
Santa Barbara or Cal Poly and USC are extremely similar cases. Yep. They both got swept or didn't win the big game. Cal Poly got swept by Santa Barbara. Cal Poly got swept by USC. USC got swept by Oregon, UCLA, Nebraska, whatever. Cal Poly and USC are extremely similar teams. Good lineup, but really good pitching. And everyone this weekend will know the name Nick Bond when he comes to Morgantown.
Dude, he was fun to watch.
Nick Bond. The extension of Nick Bond is freaking alienistic because that dude can touch triple digits and he's reaching the ball to home plate. It's incredible.
Cal Poly is literally the most prototypical perfect West Coast baseball team.
Yeah.
I'm sure the actual or perceived miles per hour on his fastball is probably 106.
Yeah, guys were late on everything.
The way he drops and his mechanics are really funky. Really funky stuff.
What's the stat here, Noah?
The stat is 20.
20
runs scored in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
I don't know.
20 is the run differential of the 3 games here. They outscored their opponents 25-5. This was one of the tougher stats that I wanted to do. I wanted to find something in the pitching staff because it was phenomenal this weekend. The bullpen through 8 innings had 10 strikeouts, 5 hits allowed, 0 earned runs. It was phenomenal. But then again, it was just all of these stats are good. They played the 4 seed twice and the 2 seed once, So it's gosh, pick and choose.
I was thinking about it. I was you know what? UCLA gets heartbroken. They get walked off by St. Mary's on Sunday afternoon. Was it Sunday afternoon? Yeah, Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they beat Cal Poly twice.
No,
I don't think they do. I don't even think
the way they looked, the way they were playing.
No.
So it wasn't even a heartbreaking, oh my God, they got a rip from them. I don't think they were winning a game against Cal Poly anyway.
It was also but it was the case where it's if UCLA does wake up and play to their full potential, they could rattle off the next 12 wins and win the College World Series.
Yeah.
It was like we were waiting for that moment.
Two things on UCLA real quick from me.
Make it really quick. I'm on a time crunch. 45 minutes is all I have until swim lesson. So
okay. With UCLA, where was I going? Now that I'm distracted, I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Of their 8 losses, 6 to mid majors in the state of California. This team was not overrated, guys. They beat every good team that they played. That's the biggest thing about UCLA. Non-conference, they challenged themselves and went out and played everybody. They swept TCU. They went down to Globe Life and they swept that weekend and were not in any competitive.
Fans are ignoring that weekend. They are pretending that weekend doesn't exist.
Blew out Texas A&M, blew out Virginia Tech, or no, it wasn't Virginia Tech. It was somebody else in the SEC, and then won an instant classic against Mississippi State on one of the best Sunday games you'll see. That team was all time.
All right, Ben, take us on.
All right, next one we're going to go to is we just covered the number 1 team. Let's go over to number 2, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. The second straight season that the number 1 and number 2 overall seeds have been eliminated before super regionals. Oklahoma, another team that coming into the tournament, I'll be honest, I was like, a 2 seed for Oklahoma? That's a little weird, but it did make sense because they're the 2 seed at the number 2 overall regional host. So I was like, okay, they can make things competitive, but Georgia Tech is going to steamroll their way through this. And after the first game against UIC, I was like, dude, Georgia Tech is not going to lose any game this regional, let alone 2. You might as well just put them in Omaha. But tides turned. Oklahoma, they beat the Citadel by a ton the first game. And then they lose to Georgia Tech, but it was close in a way. I don't know. They kind of punted that game. And then from there, the next 3 games, Oklahoma looked like the best team. They would have been the best team out of those 3 games. Nobody was beating Oklahoma those 3 games. The pitching was fine. I thought Skip Johnson did a very ballsy move, pulling Cam Johnson after just 3 batters in that first game against whoever it was, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, it was Georgia Tech.
Sunday evening, right?
Yep.
And we just got a lot of cool storylines out of this regional between Oklahoma and Georgia Tech.
I'll tell you one of my favorite. Actually, I have 2 favorite storylines from this weekend. Number 1, LJ Mercurius on Saturday was 1 pitch away from getting out of a jam and capping off his outing really well. Gave up a home run to Parker Brosha that knocked him out of the game. That was the 1-0 game Saturday night. Then fast forward to Sunday. Was it Sunday or yesterday? Yeah, Sunday. In the first game of the regional final against Georgia Tech. That same situation came up again. LJ Mercurius versus Parker Brosha. And you can see him walking around going, one more. And he got Parker Brosha to fly out. And I thought that was just the inches of baseball, where it's 1 pitch can change everything. And Mercurius got his revenge, and he ended up capping off another really good performance. So that's what I said in our regional preview. If this Oklahoma team gets the performances, and Xander Mercurius was exceptional this weekend. So Cam Johnson was average, but he was serviceable. Mercurius pitched his ass off, and Xander Mercurius pitched his ass off. So I told you guys, if that trio of pitchers can step up, this is a dangerous team.
Also, how swaggy was that Dayton Taki walk-off homer? It was so pure off the bat, and it went straight up through the camera that I was like, oh, this is either over the batter's eye or a pop-up to the pitcher. I couldn't tell. It went so high off the bat. And, to see him after fouling a ball off his nutsack the at-bat before and, having to take a breather, which I completely understand, to come back.
All dudes laugh. When
everybody was laughing at him. It was I'm glad he's okay, but it's always funny when somebody gets hit in the nuts. And then, but to him, capitalize or cap it off with a walk-off home run was freaking awesome. It was sweet. Happy for
my biggest gripe is that I don't know whose call it was, whether it was James Ramsey or Matt Taylor, the pitching coach, Georgia Tech. They single-handedly fumbled away. Argue with the wall. The greatest lineup ever assembled in the BB Core era. Like this lineup, you're never going to put together a lineup like this ever again. 8th inning, Mason Patel pitched his ass off. Also as a closer, welcome to regional weekend. Your closers have to step up and eat a lot of innings. He went 6th inning, 2 runs. His day was done. He did more than what Georgia Tech even expected out of him. They left him in for a leadoff double in the 8th. One more. RBI or single to right, 1st and 3rd. One more. You can see James Ramsey. He didn't know what to do. He was standing at the top step. He was like, do I go get him? He's looking at his pitch and go, do I go get him? Like, what do we do? One more. Another base hit. And now you're like, dude, what's the point? Go get him. You've got a couple guys. Dylan Loy comes in, gets the double play. They get out of it. They go to the next inning. They take out Dylan Loy. For what reason? And they bring in.
And it was to start a clean 9th with Tate McKee, but 2 lefties began the inning. So you could have used Loy at the top of in the 9th inning there. Keep going, Dimitri.
It was such a blunder. It was such a overcoaching blunder. McKee threw 100 pitches on Friday. McKee has been good, but he's not some automatic dominant game over type of pitcher. He pitches the contact and he gets his fair share of strikeouts, but he does give up contact. And sure enough, Oklahoma puts up 2 or 3 runs in the 9th, tie the game.
Well, I think it was just one. They just manufactured the one run.
Oh, but all the runs came against Patel in the inning before, right?
Yeah.
And then it was 1 in the 9th off a Jackson Willis RBI single. And it was like, what are we doing here? You just fumbled and choked away because you just overcoached it. Leave Dylan Loy in there and you win this game. Or you just take Patel out like a normal person after a leadoff double. He's already 100 pitches in. Really pissed me off.
Yeah, I'm with Dimitri on this one, but I will say it's so easy to. It's technically Tuesday morning quarterback this thing. I listened to the post-game press conference, another one that just kind of breaks your heart. And Ramsey, who I think on the last podcast, I was just like, he's a mad scientist. He knows exactly what he's doing. Like he can explain it to you. He's very intelligent. His reasoning was, we're just going to go down with our best arms. The guys that brought him there. And I can too. Like Mason Mattel gave him everything. And then you bring out your Friday night starter from the bullpen. It's like, you got me. Like, I understand it. Like, those are your dudes. Ride or die.
I would never fault somebody for saying, I'm going to go down with my best guy. I'm going to go down fighting my best guy. So that's not a shot at Ramsey. It's just, it was frustrating to watch in real time saying, oh, come on, don't overthink this. Leave Loy in. Don't overthink this.
Yeah. Yep. I actually have
the dugout. I'm not in the dugout.
I actually have 2 stats on Oklahoma because I find this team fascinating because I saw them the beginning of the year, opening weekend, when they probably looked their best they have all season long. And then throughout the year, they kind of have had some inconsistencies. And Coach Skip Johnson had mentioned in his presser that there's just been moments where they've hit well, but they haven't pitched well. And then they've pitched well, but haven't hit well. They haven't really been able to put anything together completely. I have 2 really good stats on Oklahoma. First one, 18.2.
Innings pitched from the
bullpen.
Innings pitched in the first 3 games by freshman starting pitchers. In the first 3 games, they started 3 freshman pitchers. Dude, Cord Rager goes 6 innings, 3 earned against the Citadel. Xander Mercurius had 5 earned runs against Georgia Tech, but it's a freshman against the Yellow Jackets. Like, that's a hell of a start. And then Nick Weslowski goes 7 innings, 3 earned, 5 tallied against him because of some errors, and that's also Oklahoma for you. But 3 freshman starting pitchers to begin that regional. The second stat, guys, 28.
2-out RBIs.
No, that can't be it. No shot.
That's absurd. 28 strikeout, 28
So I
base hit.
technically, guys, I technically cheated. I'm sorry I lasted that long making you guys guess. This is why I had to include 2. In Oklahoma's last 11 games, they've hit 28 home runs. They're averaging 2.5 homers per game. That would put them currently second in the nation in homers per game.
Wow. That's good for them. Yeah, that's going to be a really fantastic super regional with Kansas. Let's see if Oklahoma can put together. But you know what? I hate doing this because we're giving Oklahoma credit when it should have never got to this point. Like we would be talking about Georgia Tech right now more if they didn't soil it. But that's the way sports works.
I'm sorry, I got to mention it too. Dayton Taki in the press conference, he said, we knew if we just put game pressure on Georgia Tech that they have not been to the deep water, like that they would fold. We knew we had them if we just put game pressure on them in the late innings because they weren't really battle tested. And what turned out to be a pumpkin ACC. It was a super weak conference this year. So, yeah, I thought that was fascinating from Taki.
I agree with you guys, but I hate basing a conference off of 3 days of baseball. I don't know why it bothers me that because the ACC was so good all year and they laid an egg this weekend. Virginia Tech, if they win that game against UCLA, that can change the percent. I mean, if Miami, it's just so many things. I hate basing a conference success based off of 3 days of baseball.
It was just so fair. Brutal. They had 8 or 9 bids, and they got 1 team out.
9 teams, only 1 remaining, and that's UNC.
Pathetic. It's pathetic. 100% I agree, but I hate doing it. I hate basing because baseball is not a game of 3 days.
Yep. All right. So let's I do want to make an announcement. I have 30 minutes left, so you guys might have to finish the show at the end without me, which is completely fine. You guys would crush it. But what we're gonna do is since I only have about 30 minutes left, I do want to talk about our mid-major teams that made a run. I know we're bouncing all around the bracket. I'm sorry. Probably should have been more organized, but we're going to make it worth your time.
I've marked each regional that we've talked about. So Dimitri and I will be able to clean it up.
I want to move, speaking of the ACC, I want to move down to Florida State. The Tallahassee regional, we knew it was going to be a dogfight 1 through 4. There was not an easy out. All 3 teams were very, I would, for the most part, like pretty evenly matched day 1 at least. The biggest gripe I have about the regional was like it sucks that we lost the Cam Fluky Wes Mendez game to rain, and it's a result of both teams throwing off game 1. So I know I'm a big proponent of like, hey, sometimes it makes more sense to throw off, like do it to try to win the regional. Well, this is where it backs up on you, because if they both would have played or pitched their aces on Friday, they're both going to be playing in a winner's bracket game that is going to be postponed for rain. Maybe not. Can't predict weather, but the fact we only got like 5 innings out of those 2 guys in that elimination game was really sad because they were both A+ stuff that day. Like they looked really good. And it was an elimination day, which is crazier. The other thought I had was like Northern Illinois, the MAC was, I think, a lot better than people gave credit to. Northern Illinois finished 4th in that conference, and they beat Coastal Carolina game 1. And then, like, I know it got ugly against St. John's, but they had to punt. Like, they used all 3 weekend starters against Coastal. But that, like, elimination game against Florida State, like, they could hit and, like, had a chance to win that game. So Northern Illinois showed out. The main story, though, is we do get St. John's as a 4 seed advancing out of the regional. Noah, you predicted it our last official podcast last week. They're not a 4 seed. The Big East does this it feels like every year. It's normally with UConn, but Creighton last year going to a regional final. The Big East continuing to get 3 and 4 seeds these teams are much better than that. The RPI is the RPI because they play up north and can't play good midweeks, and some of the competition on the bottom end of conferences is not great. So
same thing as the West Coast.
It's the same thing as the West Coast, but you look at St. John's body of work this year, and every weekend series, they pretty much won all the big ones. especially in conference where they beat Xavier and UConn and Creighton in weekend series. So
they played,
shout out to the Johnnies.
Arizona
I'm excited
State.
for that team.
They played Arizona State and Kentucky in non-con series. They lost those, but they were competitive in almost every game.
Yeah, and I mean, I found John
LeGrande
Jr. is my favorite player in baseball right now. He is the perfect college baseball player. Where like I don't know if he'll get a chance to play in the major leagues, but he'll stick around pro organizations for a long time. Like a guy like that can really hit, can play center field to an elite level and run the bases will always have a spot on a pro team. So I'm excited for the Johnnies. They took care of business in 3 games and swept through that Tallahassee regional, and it was never really stressful. Like a couple innings here and there, but they took care of business.
Yeah, St. John's not a 4 seed. They are a 4 seed, literally speaking, but they are not a 4 seed in terms of what's the talent in that dugout. I did not say it publicly, but in our group text, I said that St. John was going to win that regional.
Yeah. Not only that,
you know how it is.
Because you went for a run. You said you went for a run, a jog outside, and you connected them with 2012 Stony Brook.
And all 3 of us just had this fusion in that group chat.
Just clicked. And I was like, dude, you're right. I can buy into that 100%.
And Travis Jankowski with Stony Brook, who is like an all-time Cape Cod player. John LeGrande, Cape Cod League postseason MVP. Like, it was there.
Yeah.
I was just like, this team, regular season champion, tournament champion, Northeast team, really good talent in that dugout, just maybe underrated a little bit by the national perception. I was like, dude, this St. John team is going to win this regional. Coastal is not as strong as we think. Florida State is not the strong Florida State that people are maybe a casual would think of. And I was like, dude, St. John's is winning this regional. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought that it would, hey, I will say Florida State and Coastal got screwed by the rain.
Yep.
Significantly. Cam Flukie, Wes Mendez had both of their starts cut short. That completely changed everything for the whole weekend. So yeah, weather impacted this regional for sure, but I don't know that weather would have changed the outcome of the team being the last standing.
What would have changed the outcome of the team being last standing is had Florida State thrown Wes Mendez, to Ben's point that he mentioned earlier. Yeah. I legitimately think if you saw ace from Florida State, ace from Coastal in game 1, you get the chalk to hold because those 2 arms are elite, and they just didn't use them. They both fell to the losers bracket. Yeah. They allowed the weather to play into, what made it a crazy weekend. The stat here, boys, for St. John's, 31
number of walks on the weekend.
No, dude, not in 4 games. There's no way. Like they put up
not for one team. Just what? I don't know.
They put up a bajillion. I feel like it has to do with St. John's.
41 runs scored. No,
I have no idea.
31 runs scored in 3 games. They averaged 10.3 runs per game, compared to a regular season average of 6.3 runs per game.
That data is skewed, though, because how many did they put up against Northern Illinois? Like 20?
True. But the offense is rolling right now. John LeGrande and Adam Agresti, like in the top 4 of that lineup. Agresti hit 2 bombs, grand slam that won the game against Florida State. And even Sean McMillan and Jader Rafestring are like, the top 4 has been hitting really, really well.
Good for the Johnnies, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right, let's move over to another 4 seed that really wasn't a 4 seed. It's a team that had postseason success last year. This year, it's the same exact story, except they just didn't have to run into LSU at the Alex Box. The Little Rock Trojans are anything but little. And I know that America casuals have them pegged as like, oh my God, what a miracle run. Like, no. You watch the play on the field, and they were the best team in that regional, and it wasn't necessarily close. We were hyped up on Southern Miss, Jacksonville State. Like both of them, we would have probably bet a lot of money that like one of those two teams
I
was
did.
Oh, you did. Was one of those two teams was going to advance out of the regional. Like Jacksonville State was not a 3 seed; they were 2 seed through and through. Little Rock should have been a 3. Virginia
was a 3 seed.
Virginia was a 3, but like Southern Miss at home, once again, same story. They just can't get out of their own regionals, man. And it's sad because it's like, when is it going to happen for Southern Miss to get to Omaha? They've been one time in their school's history, long time baseball, like big baseball support for a long time. The one time they've made it to Omaha was as a 3 seed, where I think they were a last 4 team in. And then they go win a regional or super regional against Florida. And it's just like, when is it going to finally happen again? They've had everything right in front of them, and they just can't capitalize. But to their defense and to their fans' defense, we were preaching it since last Monday. Like, oh, this is a much more loaded regional than they would have wanted. Little Rock, I don't know if you guys saw one of my fantasy picks from this year, but Blake Simpson from Little Rock, he's an SEC player hitting in the 5-hole for Little Rock. He had about 12 hits this weekend, it felt like. And then Angel Cano, the hero from last year, I think he was MVP of that Baton Rouge regional, even though they didn't win it. He hit like 5 homers last year. He's hitting in like the 7-hole. So
he's been a little cold this year.
Well, it shows you the talent and the depth that they have in the lineup. And then everybody they threw out there, including big number, number 44 or 40, 4 unbuttoned jersey. I mean, just a pleasure to watch pitch. Like it's just a team that they're freaking good. They're really good, and they're going to give Troy all they can handle. I wouldn't even be surprised if Little Rock was the favorite to win that super regional next week if Vegas has come out with lines.
Yeah, I think the result of this regional is very sour tasting for Southern Miss fans, because now they're like, oh my God, we could have hosted Troy for a trip to Omaha on the line, and for Florida fans thinking, oh my God, all we had to do was get through Little Rock and we were on our way to Omaha.
Yeah.
Troy, 1 win against Troy, 2 against Little Rock, and you're in Omaha. For Florida fans, you're like, dude, I'll take that 100 times out of 100 times. So this regional was massive in what the stakes were of going to Omaha, because of obviously Troy winning theirs and Little Rock winning theirs. But I think my biggest storyline isn't even Little Rock or Troy. It is at how bad Virginia looked. Might have been some of the.
They had they had half the game against Southern Miss where they were unstoppable.
Yeah. Which makes no sense.
This was a bad defending Virginia team. This was a bad starting pitching Virginia team. This was a lot of bad things. I have never seen Virginia this bad. Even last year's team that didn't even get in the tournament was better than the way they looked this weekend. Like, this was a bad looking Virginia team. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, it was not pretty. So I'm with Ben, and I went and looked at it. Like, Cano had his struggles in March and April, but the bookends of his season have been really good. He's actually hitting 293 with 12 bombs. So I would love to have a down year that looks like that. Yeah. But like Ben's right by saying that the lineup top to bottom, they can do damage. Guys, the stat is the number one
stressful inning for Little Rock all weekend.
1 strikeout with runners. 1 strikeout. 1. I don't know.
1 home run. 1 home run. They scored on the weekend 21 runs. They went 3-0, and they hit 1 home run.
That tells me how good their pitching was.
Pitching actually wasn't like mind blowing, but it was just like they manufactured
averaging 7 runs a game in regional weekend and going 3-0 tells me your pitching was at least way better than everybody else's.
True. They just kind of pieced it together.
Yeah, there was not like a star performer.
No, it wasn't.
It
That's what
together.
I'm saying. It was just a
Westmoreland's their guy. He's their ace. But even against Southern Miss, he only went 5 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 3 earned, only 5 strikeouts.
I will say on Little Rock, like that's a school that used to be in the Sun Belt and got forced out of the Sun Belt because they don't have football. But it is a school that will be pouring resources into baseball consistently, similar to like Murray State last year. They got a hell of a coach, one of the best coaches in the country, in Chris Curry. This is just the start for Little Rock if they can hold that coaching staff together, because I imagine they're going to get plenty of new resources and facilities and scholarships, NIL. Like that's a big alumni base that loves their baseball.
I think it is so funny how we're sitting here talking about Little Rock being so good, and I'm like, dude, guys, they finished tied for 3rd or 4th in the OVC. A year ago, they were dog shit. Like, you got regular season matters. They were not a very good team in the regular season, and now we're putting so much weight into a 3-game weekend series. It's like pump the brakes a little bit. They played really well this weekend. Jacksonville State didn't play their best baseball, so it's like pump the brakes a little bit.
I wonder if never mind, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say, I wonder if a team could just like rent out or lease Coach Curry for the postseason.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Like, dude, every move he makes sense.
Listening to every press conference he's given the last 2 years, in the Baton Rouge regional and then the Hattiesburg regional, at the end of Baton Rouge, he's like, man, once I hop on the bus, we're going to make a couple of phone calls in the transfer portal. I know exactly what we need to do to kind of get this team into a better spot for next year, for not only the regular season where we didn't, so we don't finish 8th in our conference, but also a regional. And he went through his entire list in the regional press conference after he won. He was like, we needed to add left-handed pitching. We needed to add a little bit of bullpen depth. He was like going down and down like some of the matchups that he needed to win a regional.
Coach right there.
And
know your team better than anybody else.
And that's what a mid-major team should do. Build your roster to win a conference tournament and perform in a regional, but at the same time, it's the same thing you need to win in the regular season. So it's all one and the same.
Yeah.
All right, let's move down to the other Trojans that made it. We'll go Trojans. But this time we're stopping with Troy. What a absolute just offensive outburst after losing game 1 against Miami, where they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Tons of strikeouts. The Troy Trojans come back through the losers bracket, win 4 games, and dominate 4 games. When people say just give us a chip and a chair, like just give us a chance, and they showed it. Like they should have just packed it up after that Miami game, saying like, hey, there's no way we're going to beat Ryder, who just went toe-to-toe with Florida. Ryder could have beat Florida that game. And then, after that, play the loser of Miami and Florida. And then after that, play the winner, and then play the winner again. They had no reason to be mentally still there at a regional, but the coaching staff did a hell of a job with remotivating the guys, telling them like, this is why we played the number 1 or number 2 non-conference strength of schedule all year. This is why we're battle tested. They had a ton of transfers come in from this year's team, and guys that like Jay Boroff, who was JUCO Player of the Year.
Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce.
Yeah.
Jay Bruce.
That's actually amazing. He's hitting like 180 this year after being JUCO Player of the Year last year, and goes 10 for 20 with like 5 homers in the last 3 games. It was every single guy there, the Stephen Myers of the world, the Drew Nelsons. Anytime they had runners on base, it was automatic crooked number that inning. It was really fun to watch. I know there's Florida fans out there who are very frustrated, saying like, how does this keep happening? We're hosting regionals, the same story as like Southern Miss. But it's like not Florida's fault that something happened in the 4th inning of the Ryder game that Troy became the like 1999 New York Yankees. You were not getting those guys out. It doesn't matter what stuff you have on the mound. They're seeing every pitch. So that's more credit to Troy than Florida, who Florida still put up, what was it, 12 runs in that Sunday night elimination game?
16-11, I think it was.
Yeah, they put up 11 runs. How much? And they had Liam Peterson on the mound.
Yeah,
that guy's going to be pitching. That guy's going to be pitching in the Northeast Conference next year.
Wow.
I'm joking, but I think the two biggest storylines is Troy pulling whatever they had left out of them to reel off 3 straight wins against Miami, Florida. Just incredible work by Skylar Meade and that whole staff, and obviously the players.
Well, the players were playing hard for him. The pitch counts were not a factor at all. Everybody was available every single game, and that shows the type of guy they recruit there. That's we don't want any prima donnas that are obsessed with their pitch count or their stuff. The guys were out there throwing 4 miles an hour slower than they normally did, but they were still getting guys out. That was really cool to see.
Yeah.
So Ben, again, another press conference reference from me. Skylar Meade told his pitchers, he said this to the media before the Miami game: we have to approach Miami and Florida completely different than how we typically go about things on the mound. He was like, we have premier talent all over the roster. We think that we could compete in the SEC. We are built to win championships here at Troy, but we needed to change our mindset for 3 games.
Yep.
Here's what I think they did. In game 1 against Miami, Troy walked 7 dudes. In games 3, 4, and 5 on the weekend against Miami and 2 against Florida, Troy walked a total of 6. They walked less in the final 3 games than they walked in that first game. And Cooper Ellingworth, how about this? 1 start prior to game 1 against Florida, where he shoved 6 innings, 5 earned, 5 strikeouts, 7 hits. That's all you can That's all you can expect and more out of a dude who only had 1 start going into that game.
Yep, dude.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben. It was really impressive with Troy, and the thing that makes this sport so beautiful is Troy goes from a last 4 team in to hosting a super regional. Name another sport where that's even possible. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to just show you. I'm going to put a lot of
1 in a million chance. I'm not exaggerating. For Troy to host a super regional, it was probably a 1 in a million chance going back to last Sunday before Selection Monday. 1, they had to get in the tournament. 2, they had to win their regional. 3, they had to have a 4 seed win the other regional. What are the chances in that?
Yeah.
I mean, getting in was like a 40-60 chance. They did not think they were getting in.
Yeah, they're running hot. That's like a 300-to-1 parlay that they've got shot. Hit.
But it just goes to show you, and I'm going to put a lot of weight into it going forward. Take the teams that are hot. I have not a formula, but just a thing that gauged it. And remember when I told you guys I listed the top team, and one of them was Milwaukee. I'm getting off track here for a split second. I said Milwaukee was the number 1 rated team in my little thing that I made. And I was like, it's Milwaukee. I'm going to ignore that. I'll go to the 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Sure enough, Milwaukee made a regional final. And Troy was right there, number 4, number 5.
I completely forgot about that. You sent us the AI model, blah, blah, blah.
And it's hilarious.
You're like, Milwaukee.
Because it wasn't just Milwaukee. It was Alabama State was number 2 or number 3, too.
Yeah.
So I was like, this thing's just an AI, untuned tool that Dimitri's up here working with.
That's funny.
So yeah, going forward, I'm going to put more weight into hot teams because the way player development has improved. These mid-major teams have good players, and if they're a hot team, they have good players to beat the big dogs in the Power 4 conferences. So I'm going to put a lot more weight into that going forward. That momentum matters. Troy had momentum on their side for 3 days, and you can see what happened. But on the flip side, if I'm Florida, I'm really salty and I'm really pissed right now because all you needed was 1 win against Troy, and all you needed was 2 wins against Little Rock, And all you needed was one win against Cal Poly or West Virginia, and you're in the driver's seat game in Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like the easiest path you could ever get. I mean, and by easiest, I mean just name on the jersey. I don't mean the actual team. Just name on the jersey. If you're a Florida fan, you're like, oh my God, this was the easiest path we're going to ever get to maybe getting to the national championship series in Omaha.
Dude,
And they
Sully
shit their
was
pants and
stunned.
soiled it.
Sully was stunned.
Yeah.
Stunned.
He didn't know what to do. Every time they showed him the dugout, he wasn't mad or he wasn't happy. He was just like,
he was just
I don't know what to do here.
Cold, straight face. Like every arm that he decided to throw got
just
bombed.
got rocked.
Like
I mean,
Caden McDonald
Josh Reitner
gave all he
got
could.
ripped.
Sorry?
Reitner
Yeah.
got
All
ripped.
weekend. All weekend.
got
Ryder
ripped.
and Troy. But yeah, like Caden McDonald gave him 4.1. But O'Sullivan was saying post game, like, yeah, I just saw he was tired in the dugout. Like he's a two-way arm. Like that's only things that you can see when you're in the dugout.
Yep.
So, and his season max was 52 pitches. So he was at his end, and that was the end of the 5th inning or whatever. Russell Sandefur comes in, walks three earned runs.
Cooper Wald with the piece that Sully needed to do well, and he just time and time again can't figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Troy stat for you guys.
Yeah, Troy stat.
11
runs a game.
11 home runs.
11 runs per game here in the Gainesville Regional over 5 games. And it's 11 runs per game in the last 5 games compared to just 7 runs per game in the regular season.
Yep.
Wow.
95 Yankees.
Trojan, Riddle Pace Field. See you for Super.
Yep. All right. Last one that I'm able to do here today before I have to hop off, boys. Let's go Trojans. This USC team goes to College Station and loses a heartbreaker to Texas State Friday night. And when I say heartbreaker, I mean they had a lead in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. The whole game. And their stud closer, who's been good all year except for like the last couple weeks, gives up a 2-run like storybook. Chase Mora, longtime Texas State legend, comes up clutch in the 9th inning to take the lead back from him. And at that point, I'm like, dude, Lamar just played really well against A&M. Like now Lamar gets a deflated SC team. Like what's going to happen? At this point, I'm like, dude, I kind of like Texas State's chances of winning this regional. Like they look good. And like they have all the momentum in the world. Meanwhile, Southern Cal puts up, I think, 20 runs and like very quickly jumps out to like 11-0 lead against Lamar.
Buried them.
And just kind of coasted the rest of the tournament, dude.
Yeah.
Like they rattle off 4 straight wins. The pitching staff looked super sharp, and the offense finally woke up. And they're going to give North Carolina everything they can ask for this weekend. The one downside for SC is Sean Allen, the pitching coach, just took the Lamar job. Ironically enough, they were just in an elimination game 3 days ago.
They already knew.
I know they already knew.
They already knew probably during the weekend or before the weekend.
Yeah, I wonder if Sean Allen went over to Will Davis at Lamar and was like, hey, can you guys give up a 30 runs so I look like a hero when I come back next year? Can we inflate that team ERA?
You know what the most impressive thing is besides USC's resurgence offensively is Mason Edwards had their worst start statistics-wise all weekend. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He was statistically speaking, he ate up a bunch of innings. Yeah. He gave maybe he didn't. I think he only won like 5. I don't know. Anyways, it was the worst start of all the USC Trojan starting pitchers on the weekend. Adrian Lopez is one of my top 5 favorite players in college. I've already liked him all year with
I'm
USC.
an Augie Lopez guy.
You're an Augie guy? I'm an Adrian guy.
We should get matching shirts. I'll get Augie.
Yeah, you guys should put
Augie and Adrian.
Yeah.
But you know what, guys? USC season, and credit to Andy Stankiewicz. They've lost heartbreaker after heartbreaker after heartbreaker after heartbreaker all season long. I mean, I was literally stunned when Chase Moore hit the home run. I'm like, there is no way this happened again to this USC team. And sure enough, they locked it down. They buckled up. They strapped up and just steamrolled the rest of that College Station regional. Texas A&M didn't have a shot. They had no chance against USC in the regional final. So I don't know what Andy Stankovic did. I don't know what he said to them, but whatever he did, hell of a coaching job by him, because they keep getting heartbroken and they keep getting right back up and staying focused.
You said it well, Dimitri. Probably a few weeks ago now, you're like, hey, this USC team, like they can be an Omaha team still. Like I know that they just went through their rough patch and like did not perform, but the talent is there. Like the coaching is there. They just need a good regional draw. And I wouldn't even necessarily call this a good regional draw. It was kind of a dogfight for like on paper, with Lamar being a 4 seed. Who goes neck and neck with A&M. A&M, we know how good they are. And then Texas State is like that Sunbelt team that, I mean, typically is going to be a good regional opponent. So all the credit in the world to USC. There was a ton of coaching changes right after this regional wrapped up, with Sean Allen taking the Lamar head coaching job, Will Davis taking the University of Houston job. And then just recently, earlier today, this morning, Jason Kelly getting getting let go as the pitching coach of A&M.
Yeah.
So. Hey, one thing I want to say, one thing now you just reminded me with Jason Kelly. Clayton Freshcorn got the short end of the stick in the management. He pitched his freaking ass off in the winner take Game 7 finale against USC for A&M. Longest outing of the season. I don't think he went more than 3 innings all year. Gave Texas A&M everything they could ask for in their starter. 6 innings of 2-run baseball, 6 2/3 actually, before giving up a 3-run homer to Augie Lopez. And that was just absolute 100% pitching staff mismanagement. The guy was gassed. You could see it, and they kept trying to ride him. The same thing with James Berry. Like, I want to go down swing with our best guy. But it's the 6th inning or 7th inning. That's not the time to go down swing of your best guy. You still have 3 innings to play. And it really pissed me off that Freshcorn had to walk off that mound giving up 5 runs, because I've been there.
Yeah.
Like it was, he pitched so well. 5 runs is criminal to his stat line, and no one will remember it because of that. And that really pissed me off.
All right, no, what's your stat? What's your stat? And then I got to head out.
Stat is 41.
41 runs for USC.
In the elimination game.
41 hits just by the top 5 hitters in this lineup. Silly. This is a USC team that was known for the pitching, and they hit 373, the top 5 hitters in this lineup. Avery Covarrubias, Adrian Lopez, Augie Lopez, Kevin Takeuchi, and Isaac Cadena. And Isaac Cadena tweaked his quad in Game 2 against Lamar in the loser's bracket or whatever it was.
He kept grabbing at it too. That quad was bothering him. So,
you know who else? I'm a big Andrew Lamb guy.
Shout out Mike Lamb.
Dimitri just disconnected.
Disappeared.
There we go.
Donkey lefty hitter. I love Andrew Lamb.
Yep. His dad was an awesome Astros player. But all right, I'm going to let you guys take over from here. I don't think it'll close out Restream if I exit, right?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, I'll see everybody else on Wednesday night to record the pod. You guys take it over from here. I think you have like 5 regionals left, 4 or 5?
4 or 5, yep.
All right, cool.
See ya.
Dimitri, you grabbed the wheel.
right.
Like I said, Saturday I was out and about. My extended family threw a party because my cousin proposed and got engaged. So I was kind of distracted on Saturday, but I was still in our group chat, texting away, trying to watch all the games, but wasn't as locked in as I like to be. So go ahead and take the wheel.
All right, so we'll go to what regional you want to go to here. You want to go to let's go to the Plains, Auburn.
Okay.
Biggest shocker was right off the bat, day 1, Milwaukee absolutely throttles the Tigers.
Yes.
Jake Marciano got ripped around by the Panthers. I mean, actually, they were the Milwaukee Brewers, the way they were playing on Friday.
They were.
And UCF takes care of NC State in that 2-3 game, so they advanced. And I thought, honestly, Auburn needs Milwaukee to win this that 1-0 winners bracket game to have a chance. Because I thought UCF had a little more depth pitching wide if they were to end up in a game 7 or something. But Milwaukee, man, they showed out all weekend. They pitched well, they played well, they were really competitive. There was a moment in this weekend that was just like you can't script it up any better. NC State versus UCF elimination game, or versus Auburn elimination game. Sorry. Auburn wins the game on a pitch clock violation to end the game.
Yeah.
Elliott Avent, like the Elliott Avent we know, hat off, gray little balding going, gray hair going, comes running up to start ripping the umpire. And I was like, dude, you can't script this any better. Last game for the legendary coach, 30-something years in Raleigh, North Carolina. And yeah, man, I mean, you could not script it up any better. Rules aside, whatever, guy came out, gave the umpire the earful to close out his career. But
as he walked back to that dugout, the standing ovation he received from Plainsman Park was unmatched. Awesome. Unmatched. It was baseball knowing fan base 101. Excellent crowd.
Yep.
Saturday
and
afternoon.
You know what? I'm getting more and more impressed with Auburn every time I watch big time games at their ballpark. They're knowledgeable fans. They're very passionate, but they're also like in a weird way, like respectful, like kind of a boomer take maybe, but it just feels like a great environment to watch a baseball game.
Dude,
Milwaukee, 6 games under 500, make a game 7 of a regional final. I mean, that's just absolutely incredible for them.
Yeah, that reminds me, you saying like weirdly boomer take respectable fans. Mingione was irked by Morgantown, and we'll get to it, but just hilarious. But go ahead. I think you stopped on Saturday, so finish up Sunday.
Yeah, and then UCF. I mean, there was a lot of rain in this series that impacted a lot of results and pitching management, all that stuff. So it got a little chaotic. UCF ran out of gas. Andrew Williamson had a regional weekend to remember. The sweetest swing in college baseball from a left-handed bat. Love watching him swing the bat. But yeah, I think it came down to just Auburn's pitching depth, which just too much to overcome for both UCF and Milwaukee. Credit to Bush Thompson and that staff for staying the course. You got punched in the mouth game 1, reel off 4 straight wins to win that regional, just like USC. So I think that's just a testament to what a good job the coaching staff did.
Let's continue talking about these closers that stepped up. Ryan Hetzler. He throws 3 innings on Sunday afternoon against UCF. 37 pitches, 5 strikeouts, just 1 hit. All right, just a long down up.
1 hour.
1 hour down up. We're gonna have a long offensive rally. Stay warm, stay loose. It's just a long down up, right? Then he comes out and he starts the game against Milwaukee, goes 4 innings, 67 pitches, 6 strikeouts, 3 hits, 1 earned. He gave up 1 earned over 7 innings and probably a total of 3.5 hours. And he allowed just 4 hits.
And you know what? Hetzler, you know what's crazy? Hetzler, that was what I mean by testament coaching staff. Hetzler kept moving around between games. He kept tossing. Like he never stopped. He didn't obviously wasn't high intent pitches in the bullpen or whatever, but he didn't stop because that was their plan. And tip of the cap, really incredible. I wish there was video footage of it because I would have loved to have seen Hetzler like kind of keep tossing, basically saying, you're going to come in this game and you're going to start the next one. We're going to keep you hot, warm in between. Incredible job by Bush Thompson and that staff.
Unreal. And yeah, Milwaukee did everything they could. I mean, they brought Riley Peterson back out after he'd thrown 60 pitches on Friday. Milwaukee threw their SP1, their SP3 in that first game against Auburn to get the win. They brought back the SP3 to start game 7 here. Then they brought out their SP2 in relief. It wasn't very good. He got knocked around quite a bit, and that was all she wrote for Milwaukee. The Panthers, excellent story. They had the world at their palms. on Sunday, just sitting in the driver's seat in Auburn, for crying out loud. A team that was under 500 and had Omaha dreams. Literally, they could smell it.
And I think
within
I
eyesight.
think I was kind of selfishly happy that it didn't work out for Milwaukee, because it just shows you how difficult it is for 4 seeds to advance. What Murray State last year did is non-normal, guys. It is non-normal. It is near impossible to outlast an SEC depth pitching staff.
Yeah.
When you are in that kind of position, you're forced at Game 7, fifth game of the weekend, or fourth game of the weekend. It's difficult. It's really difficult. So,
I mean, just look at the 2 4 seeds that came out, right? Little Rock, there was not an SEC team in Hattiesburg. St. John's, there was not an SEC team in Tallahassee.
And they did it in 3 games, so it was a little easier for them.
Yeah.
Without SEC, and you know what? They only had 1 against Florida State for St. John's. It was only their 3rd game of the weekend. So yeah, that just goes to show you how
St. John's played Florida State twice. They played them on Friday.
That's right. They played game
or
1.
Monday.
But yeah, if you outlast an SEC depth pitching staff is really hard to do with the 4 seed. So that's all I have for Auburn.
Dimitri, the stat for Auburn is 5.
5.
You know this too.
Oh, the number of home runs for Chase Fralick.
Yep, Fralick. 5 straight games of Chase Fralick home runs, and of course they played 5 games in the regional, so he homered in every game in the regional. It's his 2nd 5-game home run streak of the season. He's the first player in Division I college baseball history to have 2 such streaks in the same season.
How crazy is that?
It's,
I mean, just 5 games in a row with the home runs, crazy. To do it twice in a 60-game span is even more insane.
It's unfathomable. But I will say the ball was flying in Auburn. That park, and Butch Thompson said it post-game. For whatever reason, Plainsman's played really offensive the last 2 years in the postseason, in late May and June. Ole Miss may have some fun next week.
That power coming to Auburn is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because Auburn, I think, was the 2nd most homers in a regional this weekend.
Yeah, it was. I think Georgia Tech was 1.
It went Atlanta, Auburn. Ironically, I think it was Austin, who only played 5 games.
But Texas hit 15 of the round.
I know, dude, and that place is a graveyard.
All right, next regional. Let's do this. We'll go to Lincoln.
You want to segue right to Ole Miss there?
Yeah, we'll segue right into Ole Miss. Lincoln Regional, first home regional in nearly 20 years. Lincoln faithful showed out big time this weekend. I think this regional was one of the most difficult, tight-fought regional from just an extra inning standpoint.
Yeah.
Day 1, Nebraska was kind of in a dogfight with South Dakota State there for a little bit. Scored some insurance runs late to make it a 4-1 game. Unger slammed the door. And then the nightcap game was just incredible. Arizona State and Ole Miss go to 14 innings. Ole Miss outlasts them. And with a walk-off single in the 14th inning, Arizona State had to turn around really quick the next day. Hung 17, 20 runs against South Dakota State. And then Ole Miss kind of handled Nebraska kind of well. It was a tight game for a while. But the story for me was what's his name? Raby?
Taylor Rabe.
I keep saying Landon Raby, but Taylor Raby was nails. And there was a moment late in the game, pitch comm malfunctioning or something. The Nebraska crowd got extremely loud. They were really loud. Raby got out of the jam, and I think that was the story of the weekend for Nebraska for me. Just coming up short time and time again in big moments with runners in scoring position, just could not get the job done. And I think you could honestly maybe say that the same thing for Arizona State. They come back, they beat Nebraska. The big moment of that game was Landon Hairston getting tossed from an egregious strike 3 call. and he just kind of like instinctively like just tossed the bat. It was really weird. Like I think it was just like a
Just a total
I think
brain fart, like fall scrimmage type of move.
I don't think he even meant to throw it that far. I think it just kind of like instinctively happened.
Yeah.
And they tossed
Did
him
you
for that.
see him? Like he was looking at the ump, about to say something, does the bat and knew right then to shut
He's like, I
up.
fucked up.
He's like, I just screwed up so bad. He picked up the bat immediately and went straight to the dugout and hoped that nobody saw. But the third base umpire, I think it was, that called everybody over, and he was like, that can't fly.
Yeah. So then, then Nebraska and Arizona State holds on off a late Nebraska rally, and we get the rematch between Ole Miss and Arizona State, which I honestly think were the two best teams in the regional this weekend. Another instant classic. Arizona State gets walked off by Ole Miss in the 14th inning by Dom Decker, the former Murray State star that helped them win the Oxford Regional a year ago. But the story, I think, biggest thing for me was I felt so bad for Arizona State, man. They grinded out 40-plus innings in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Came up so short twice to this Ole Miss team. I think the Ole Miss pitching staff stepped up in a massive way against this really good, really strong Sun Devil lineup. So Ole Miss will be heading to Auburn.
Yep. And they had just enough clutch hitting to get them through the 3 games. Like they're all kind of tight. A lot of game pressure, a ton of leverage innings, and they had big hits when the other teams in this regional didn't.
I think
because that was
I think Taylor Raby. I was just going to say I think Taylor Raby was the MVP of this Ole Miss team.
He might
from a single game performance, because what he did Saturday night was just really impressive.
Yeah. Friday night, did you see the majestic Becerra bomb that we had?
Nuke.
I've never seen a ball hit that far at Haymarket. I don't know if
that
it
ball
landed.
was sent back to Oxford.
Yeah, you did tweet that.
Yes. Like that ball was absolutely torched, but there was a lot of majestic home runs in Lincoln this weekend. So one of my favorite regionals, not my favorite, but one of my favorite.
That Friday afternoon, Saturday night environments that we saw at Lincoln, unbelievable. That's exactly kind of what we pictured a hypothetical Haymarket regional would be. They showed up, showed out. They definitely lived up to the reputation of that big red fan base.
Yeah, I think this regional was kind of showed us that the Big Ten was just not. They weren't battle tested enough. The top end of the conference was really good. Oregon was really good. USC's good. UCLA was really good, obviously, and Nebraska was good. But I don't think they were battle tested enough against high level talent in crunch time. I think that was the difference.
Yeah, you could be very right. I mean, there wasn't even really crunch time in the game against Arizona State. To be honest, the Devils distanced themselves in the middle innings, and Nebraska tried to crawl back in that thing. It got really interesting at the end, and I was texting you, and you're like, "Noah, just stop. They're dead. They're not alive here. There's no chance."
I think I was more so talking about Nebraska's game against Ole Miss on Saturday night.
For sure.
It just felt like they could never get across. And it was just the moment was slightly too. I don't know. That was just kind of my instant reaction at the time.
They left the village on the base pass. I do believe that's how it went.
It had to have been 6, 7 plus.
They left 8 on the base paths, and they got a big hit in the 8th with a home run by
Max Moyer.
I was at the party at the time. I don't know. I didn't have volume on. I don't know who hit it, but they hit I think it was a 2-run bomb in the 8th. Let me go look. I have the box score in front of me.
No, it's not a big deal. What's
It
the stat?
was Max Butenbeck. So it was a Max, but Butenbeck.
That's who it was.
All right, Ole Miss. The stat is 6.
6 runs given up by Ole Miss starter.
6 scoreless extra innings over the 3 games, pitched by Walker Hooks, Hudson Calhoun, and J.P. Robertson. All 3 relievers have a sub 4.15 ERA on the season. That just goes to show you, like, Ole Miss has a very good weekend rotation and an elite bullpen.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I would not associate good bullpen with Ole Miss, but it's 100% right. Walker Hook's been incredible this year, and Calhoun has been incredible this year.
It's one of those teams that screams, if we just needed to use 6 arms, we'll be very good. We'll be just fine.
Yeah, because they can pair each of those relievers with one starter.
Correct.
Starter goes 6, reliever goes 3. Starter goes 7, reliever goes 2. Like that's a really strong weapon to have.
And if you have a lineup that loads it up with lefties, like specifically Troy, they have a lot of lefties in that lineup. Like if Troy got through and they're playing in the 1-0 game, Hunter Elliott, Walker Hooks, done. Yep. All right.
That's a good thing to keep in the back of my mind when I'm like trying to plan what this Omaha thing could look like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go. While we're already in the Midwest, we can go straight to Lawrence, Kansas. The Jayhawk faithful, Hoagland Ballpark. Coming into regional weekend, this was one of the most difficult regional for the host. Having Arkansas coming to town, who a lot of people argued should have been a host. Kansas just clean sweeps at 3-0. They were hard-fought game against Arkansas, but at the end of the day, Kansas ran away with. They were by far and away the better team this weekend. Northeastern gave Arkansas a scare on Sunday afternoon in the 1-1 elimination game, or 2-1, depending on who it is. But yeah, I mean, I thought this in Missouri State didn't do anything. They went 2 barbecue in this regional.
One of my most disappointing teams of regional weekend. I thought that offense was going to make a whole lot more noise this weekend. And shout out to Northeastern, who kept them down that entire losers bracket game. Good shout. I mean, Missouri State, Joey Hawkins, their head coach, after the game against Northeastern, of course, all the teams that lose their regional, they're distraught, especially when talking to the media. It's like, why are we even here? But Hawkins was like, we were one of the best offenses in the country. And we scored 4 runs. It was just one of those guys. They no answers. They just got shut down the entire weekend.
It happened.
Yeah.
It's one weekend and you just play like shit. It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about this regional other than the fact that Hoagland was loud. It was rocking. It was a super fun environment to watch. In Kansas, man, they just earned themselves a super regional with the result of the Georgia Tech regional. Oklahoma winning that regional.
Yeah.
Kansas gets a super, and I mean, I can't imagine a world where anybody would expect anybody else but Kansas to win. They dominated. They look like by far and away the better team. The Big 12 regular season and tournament champ usually means you're a pretty good team.
Yep. Yeah. I still don't know if I necessarily love Kansas pitching staff. Like starting option, like if I'm going to be harsh and tough love to Georgia, I have to do it to Kansas. Game 2, game 3 starting pitching wasn't too hot in this regional. And game 3 against Arkansas, they were in a 5-0 hole, and then it just flipped like that. I think they scored 9 unanswered, maybe 10 unanswered in that third game against Arkansas. And I was trying to find like a good stat for the offense. Tyson LeBlanc at the start, at the top of that lineup, unreal. Like he's been like the catalyst for this offense, the big key piece every single weekend. But after LeBlanc, it really is like a one guy steps up every game, and there's not really a rhythm or rhyme to the madness there.
It's crazy that coming into the season, Brady Ballinger was the guy.
Yep.
He is just another piece in their lineup, but nobody's really talking about him.
And shout out to Ballinger, by the way. He's playing through a broken hamate, and he ripped a double in game 3. And he's like really thinned down. He had some speed running to the second base there. Like Dario Osoria had 2 big games this weekend. Josh Dykoff had 2 big games this weekend. Tyson Owens was huge, I think, in the second game. Up and down. There's a different guy that is doing big time damage for Kansas.
So power up and down that lineup. Shout out Fitzgerald. He put together a really good lineup. I think they're a very well balanced lineup between power and contact / getting on base. So really good weekend for the Jayhawks. Historic weekend for Kansas baseball.
Dimitri, the stat is 4,042.
4,042. The singles game attendance record at Hoagland Ballpark.
Bang. Yeah, Saturday's attendance, which broke the all-time attendance record at Hoagland. Sunday's attendance was 4,007, and that is the second most attended Jayhawks baseball game in program history. And Kansas this season at Hoagland, 21-5. In the 3 games they played at Hoagland this weekend, they hit 8 home runs. The backyard had a lot to celebrate about.
I think every one of those home runs was like runners on, big moment to extend the lead or take the lead. So really good job by the Jayhawk. And I bet you they get 5,000 plus this weekend with Oklahoma coming to town for a super.
Yeah, maybe. Hilarious, by the way. Arkansas, social media was ripping Kansas social media all throughout the lead up to the regional weekend. And then Kansas's student section is unbelievable. And I give a lot of credit to them being like a basketball fan base. They know how to fill the dead time in between pitches, in between innings. They're losing their minds. And Kansas as a athletic department or as a stadium, they put the Kansas student section right next to the parent section of all the visiting teams.
They put them on top. The original mindset was to put them on top of the opposing dugout.
Yeah,
that's where they wanted them to be, loud right on top of them.
Yeah.
And that just so happened to be right next to the parent section as well. So you can only imagine the chaos and the beer and all the shenanigans that would have gone on. The FU when Arkansas player does bad and the Kansas fans rip him. As a parent, your instinct is to defend your son. And you getting into a shouting match with a bunch of 21-year-old drunk kids. It's the recipe for chaos.
And you may tweet at an 11.7 account that covers college baseball and say you have no class or whatever. But yeah, that's just parents in college baseball all across the nation. It happens, but that's why we love it.
We already talked about Oklahoma, right? Georgia Tech.
Yeah, we already talked about Oklahoma. So we've got 3 regionals.
West Virginia and Alabama left.
Alabama too.
West Virginia and Alabama. That's all I have left.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Tuscaloosa, and then we'll wrap it up with Country Road.
That works.
All right, Tuscaloosa Regional. Weirdly weird, like a weird regional.
It was weird. It
Alabama,
was weirdly uncompetitive and competitive at the same time.
Yeah, it was a weird regional. Alabama handles Alabama State game 1 handedly. Oklahoma State gets upset by USC Upstate, which set up a weird Upstate Alabama 1-0 game that was also not really competitive. And
it ended close though, and that's why, again,
it was
weird.
7-3, but it never felt close.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Upstate scratched across a couple of garbage time runs.
And they had one chance. They were a swing away, maybe a grand slam away from making it a really interesting game, a tie game, whatever.
Upstate tallied 3 runs in the final 3 innings. It's in college basketball where you're up 20, you put the reserves in, let them get 3 minutes of play time. Alabama's just using, middle of the pack bullpen arms just to save themselves for the rest of the weekend, and Upstate capitalized, but it really wasn't ever threatening, I would say.
And then so in the first elimination game on Saturday afternoon, Oklahoma State found themselves in a dogfight with Alabama State. Alabama State was a 3-2 count walk away from walking off Oklahoma State, and guy swung at a ball out of the zone and to go to extra innings. Oklahoma State ended up winning. Then they throttled USC Upstate in the Sunday afternoon game to set up a rematch with Alabama. Pokes were right back in it again. You can never count out their bat. Somebody in Colin Ritchie went back-to-back to tie the game. Oklahoma State took the lead. Eric Hines hit a moonshot 500 feet off the top of the Sewell Thomas scoreboard there, and then Alabama walked them off to advance to Super Regional. Cool regional. Not one of my favorites. It was just an average regional, but Alabama took care of business.
Yeah, it was Brock Thompson that hit the first of what ended up being back-to-back bombs for Oklahoma State. I think the story of the regional was Alabama's power showed up. They had some swing and miss concerns that certainly I highlighted, and maybe others were talking about across the country. But it really didn't come to play because they didn't have to face Oklahoma State in game 2. And they were able to just tee off on Upstate. They had 11 hits in that game, and Dimitri, the stat is 9.
9. Oh, one more thing, by the way. I need to correct myself.
I was just using Alabama, this as like the work through.
Well, I just need to correct myself. Alabama did not walk up. Brady Neal hit a 3-run homer that within the top of the 10th inning. Would they go ahead homer, not a walk off?
You're right.
Anyways, the stat is 9. I'm gonna go with 9 home runs from Alabama, 3, 4, 5 hitters or something.
Yeah, it was just 9 home runs by Alabama in the 3 games. Brady Neal had 2, Eric Hines Jr. had 2, and Justin LeBron had 2. And I don't think any of them, besides that 3-run bomb from Neal, that one landed like first row. But the other 5 were not cheapies by those 3. Eric Hines hit one over the freaking scoreboard. Justin LeBron hit one like 2 rows up in the right field Ragers area, I believe it was.
Isn't it interesting that Justin LeBron has regressed so much that no one talked about him, even though he's still a really good player? Like, it's just really interesting and fascinating to me to see that guy who's just become a piece in Alabama's lineup.
He's a plus athlete, like just athlete, tools over, like outside of his freshman year, it's been just tools over performance. But that's a guy that's still highly projectable, draftable athlete for the MLB. Because I know at times this year there was hiccups defensively. There's been swing and miss issues his last 2 years here. The average has definitely dipped this year, and it showed signs of decline last year. But still, he's a really dang good player. He's the catalyst of this team because he's also like an Energizer bunny, like the face of the program. Everything that you could get out of your shortstop. I think did he have a grand slam? Was that one of his home runs?
I'm not really sure. I didn't see a whole lot of this regional because there was just my efforts were put in some of these better ones, but
yeah. I think
that's all I have. Anything else on this regional?
It was a 3-run homer.
3-run homer.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you. It was one of the less intriguing, unfortunately, for Alabama. Tyler Fay was good. Again, it was Alabama State, though. I'm really interested to see if St. John's is able to push Alabama at all. I do think that should be a competitive series, but again,
I think it's gonna be a great super regional.
I think it can be sneaky because again, like we think that there are some Stony Brook vibes here, and Stony Brook went down to the south. I think it was LSU and played their super.
They went to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and then go down south, play at Tuscaloosa for a super regional. It's kind of similar in that aspect. I think that it can be sneaky, but you definitely know that if Alabama wins the super over a 4 seed in St. John's, they're going to be one of the more overlooked teams in Omaha. Like, regional wasn't very tough. Super regional, they played a 4 seed. That's when I think the Crimson Tide can become dangerous when they're getting overlooked.
Here's where.
All right, you're back in.
Here's where the Stony Brook vibe continue to play. Stony Brook went down to Coral Gables and won that regional with Miami. And then they went to the SEC in Baton Rouge. St. John's went to the state of Florida in the Tallahassee regional, and now they're going to the SEC more towards the west. So that it's a very interesting thing. But we're not going to talk about super regionals now. We'll talk about that next episode.
Yeah.
So that'll take us to Q Country Road. Morgantown, West Virginia was a top 3, if not the most electric regional of the weekend. Incredible crowd. You had the Kentucky Wildcats that just wanted to come in and create chaos as a last team, as one of the last 4 teams in. And boy, did they do that. They won game 1 against Wake Forest. Kentucky blew out Binghamton to set up the inevitable 1-0 game between Kentucky and West Virginia. Wildcat beat them. And you thought that was going to be all she wrote. You thought that was the end. There was no way West Virginia was coming back. Because they had to get through a strong Wake Forest team, they handled that game and set up the rematch in the regional final. Kentucky soiled away a 3-run 9th inning. And not only soiled away the lead, they gave up the lead to go down in what was an incredible go-ahead bomb in the 9th inning. Morgantown, the roof was blown off. That crowd was tarps off, standing up, loud as shit. It was just absolutely incredible environment to set up a Monday Game 7. And folks, let me tell you, it was all West Virginia for 7 innings, maybe 7 innings. Kentucky went back-to-back, 4-run 8th innings, tie it up, and you thought, oh my God, Kentucky's going to win this game now. Morgantown is silent. Kentucky's going to win this game now. Extra innings come. West Virginia, what do? They bring back Dawson freaking Montesa off a 122-pitch performance on Sunday.
Unbelievable.
Not even 1 day rest, maybe 23 hours rest. Guy comes in, first pitch, 96. You're like, how the hell is he doing that? Strikeout, fly out the left to get out of a first and second jam. And West Virginia walks it off on an Armani Guzman single to center field. And the whole crowd broke out and started belting out Q Country Road, which was by far the number one moment of all of regional weekend, which we talked about at the beginning of this episode.
For the record, Q Country Roads is a country song by Charles Wesley Godwin, who is a West Virginia native. Country Roads is just the John Denver song that they were singing. So it's 2 different songs.
But the Country Roads that they were singing is the famous one,
the John Denver one. But they say Q Country Roads like after victories, and it's the Charles Wesley Godwin song, which is hilarious.
You're right.
So, but Charles Wesley Godwin, I do believe funds because he's a West Virginia native. I think he funds their NIL collective. I think he was at like the baseball banquet in the winter.
Whoa, dude! I just put the 2 and 2 together just now.
Yeah,
I just put the 2 and 2 together. Yeah,
I was wondering if you knew that throughout, but either way, like everybody understands.
Yeah, like the point remains. But the biggest storyline outside of this regional, I thought, was that West Virginia showed a lot of grit and resiliency to mount a comeback in Game 6 against Kentucky, and then just kind of dominate for 7 innings, and then end up ultimately walking it off to win the regional.
Yeah.
This is a good West Virginia team, guys. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of heart. But I think what was really awesome was that game came down to a storyline that I thought would have been really incredible, with the fact that it was matched up with the Los Angeles Regional. Cal Poly had submitted a bid to host the San Luis Obispo Super Regional. If Kentucky won, there was murmurs and rumors that Cal Poly was not getting outbid, that they were going to win this regional, win the Super Regional bid.
And
So that
also
was really cool.
Kentucky was going to bid a lot too, because it was going to be Mitch Barnhart's last shebang as athletic director. He was the guy that brought in Nick Mingione as, you know, the hiring and the first coach to take the baseball program to Omaha. And it, like, they play at the Mitch Barnhart Athletic Complex over there. So it's like, it would have been a huge storyline, and it was something that was hanging over that final game 1000%, and added a little bit of extra pressure to both West Virginia and Kentucky, because after the game, like, Mingione absolutely broke out in tears, like, with his embrace with Barnhart on the field afterwards. But in this regional, there were 7 games. West Virginia Binghamton and West Virginia Wake Forest were not necessarily the best. The other 5 were thrilling games in this regional. It was one of, if not the most entertaining regional for sure. And the atmosphere of Morgantown definitely helped. That place was on fire and living and dying by every pitch. And that, I think you said at the top of the show, like, that's what makes college athletics so enthralling for a lot of us, is like atmospheres like that, communities that rally around their college team, because there is no pro sports team in West Virginia. It is just
guys are going the guys are going there to play for that school. They're not going there. I mean, now the NIL era, it's a little bit different where you're playing for a check, but you are going to a school because you believe in a coach, you love the campus, you love all of it. It's about the school.
Yeah. And there was they faced so much adversity in this regional. Can you tell me? So I Saturday, like I said, was a little tuned out, little occupied. Max Yell only gets 2 outs. He doesn't get out of the first. Doesn't get out of the first inning. Gives up 4 runs, none of them earned, and they yank him. Was it due to injury?
Yeah,
or
he came out. I remember he came out of it was in the dugout. Well, there was a mound visit meeting, trainer out there and everything. Came out of the game grabbing his like left bicep area, and I don't know if it was like bicep tightness, because sometimes when you get like a dead arm feeling in your bicep, it really bothers you. It's like really tender or whatever. So he came out for some sort of injury. I have not gotten word or anything yet on to what extent this injury is,
but then he comes back on Monday and throws 67 pitches, 5 innings to begin that game, just 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Like,
who knows what happened there?
Adversity there. I mean, Montesa, you already mentioned it, comes back on 1 day rest, not even 122 pitches. You know, they brought back Chanson Cole, who started that first game against Binghamton and went 6 innings through 94 pitches there. He had a fantastic game.
I think
struck out like 10 guys.
I think this is the kind of regional that battle tests the team to make a long run into Omaha in the College World Series. Yeah. But that is all being with the watch out for the Cal Poly Mustang.
Like, adversity pitching staff wise, and then, dude, you mentioned it too, that forced a game 7 game where they were down 9-6 and needed a hope and a prayer, and they got it. I mean, they put up 5 runs in that 9th inning. You know, Armani Guzman, Gavin Kelly, 2 guys that have been at the forefront of this offense, and then Paul Schoenfeld with his 4th home run of the year, no doubt bomb, but it was like 92 off the bat. And even he said after the game, he was like, yeah, I didn't think I got it, but the entire crowd knew it off the bat. It goes off the facility in right field. And then they go out and get those final outs. Like, both of those teams they've faced each other in regional finals the last 3 of 4 NCAA tournaments. There's been like a little bit of a kindling rivalry because of it now over the last couple of years. Both programs built on very similar ideologies. Dimitri, the stat here for us is 455.455.
That is the batting average. I want to say that's the. Yeah, I'll say that's the batting average of West Virginia. 1, 2. I don't know.
You're sniffing the right trail. It is the batting average for just one dude, Armani Guzman. Big game hunter, like you've put it earlier for somebody else. How about Guzman? This is so he batted 455 this weekend in the regional. Last year in the NCAA tournament, 2 hits against Kentucky, 2 hits against Clemson, 4 hits in the regional final against Kentucky, and then against LSU. West Virginia was really kept at bay by both the top 2 pitchers there. He had 2 hits in that super regional. I think he had a tank as well. But Armani Guzman steps up in the big moments. They were talking about that in the press conference. And then how about a second one, Dimitri? 0.519, 519.
That is the batting average of another West Virginia player.
You're on the right trail. It is the on-base percentage this weekend from Gavin Kelly.
Wow. Yeah. He was 12 for 16 or something going into his final at bat on Monday night.
So he tallied a ton of walks in this regional and then had big hits. And
massive.
The guy, he's been one of the under the radar stars in the Big 12. And unfortunately, we've eliminated UCLA. We've eliminated Georgia Tech. We need some stars to step to the forefront in college baseball. And I think Gavin Kelly is going to be one of them. Because how about this stat, Dimitri? That top left quadrant of our bracket, Cal Poly, West Virginia, Little Rock, Troy. 2 teams will be making their first trip to the College World Series in Omaha. And one of those teams is guaranteed to win a game. Who's going to be the stars? Who's going to be the ones that are stepping to the forefront in the limelight?
I think Nick Bond for Cal Poly could be one of those like elite closer stars, where Gavin Kelly, Armani Guzman could be that offensive star.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could even go someone like Jay Brew at Troy, depending on how the game script goes. I think those are kind of your 4 early.
Blake Simpson of Little Rock.
Yep. Or Cano at Little Rock too.
I mean, he's like we were talking about earlier with Ben. Like, he's kind of buried in that lineup a little bit. It's been a little bit of Luke Freund, and up and down the lineup, they've manufactured a bunch of runs with no home.
Dude, I am starting to get destroyed. 2.5 hours in.
That was a vibe of a podcast, by the way.
Awesome podcast. That was probably one of my favorite ones we've done. Just going through every regional, good vibe, talked about everything. And I don't know if we missed much at all, if anything.
No, I think we did a really good job of talking about it all.
So I hope you guys enjoyed listening us yap your ears off. Everything you need to know about regionals.
Yeah, we'll be back in your inbox Thursday morning with a super regional picks episode. Like, rate, leave a review, subscribe here on YouTube.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening. Absolutely incredibly super fun weekend. Thank you guys, everybody interacting with us on Twitter, social media, all the new follows. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys more than you know. We'll be back Thursday.
This sport is booming.
Preview.